All right, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Fourever Rivals. Rivals, how are we?
Very good. How are you?
Yeah, fantastic. As you might notice, a bit of a change of pace this week. I am the Scotty Tompkins, and I'll be hosting tonight. We still have our regulars in Mark and Liam. Mark, how are you, mate?
Good evening, gents, and good evening to the chat. Obviously, we have made some changes this evening, so I thought I'd make some changes myself. So, as you can see, I've dressed up for the occasion this evening, and I'm trying to avoid moving my hands and putting fingers at people. So, I'm gonna been given some encouragement about being a bit more kind of sophisticated and reliable on this evening's show. So good evening all, and looking forward.
Oh, it's very much appreciated, Marco. You're looking like a winner tonight, which is more than you can say for your club, mate, because somehow Essendon has managed to lose the bye, which is a bit unbelievable, but there's only one club that could do it, surely.
And we could also lose some players as well on the bye. So, we've had some injuries throughout the bye as well. So kudos to the Bombers at this stage.
Yeah, kudos as always. Liam, great to see you, mate. You're looking sharp, looking great.
We are, mate. We're looking sharp. We're feeling pretty sharp as well. I'm a bit confused. We've got Mark all dressed up. Rocco's got long hair. Manny's about 20 years younger.
Rocco's got hair.
Confused where everyone is, but no,
yeah,
it's good fun. I know it's going to be a good night, so we're ready to crack into it, lads.
A bit of change of scenery for you as well, Liam, because you've actually left that shithole in Perth and come to God's country, Victoria, Melbourne. Hey, how you liking it, mate?
Look, it's not too bad. It's been a good couple of days. I would be in my own place now, but there's no power at the moment. So I'm back here at the motel with the old man, and but that's okay. We're here. We're here. That's what's important. Yeah.
And you're in the capital of footy. We should really be the capital of Australia, but we won't get started on that. But do you feel it in the air while you're here, Liam? Do you have a bit of footy fever once you stepped off the plane?
Yeah, I'll be pretty excited. Obviously, I'm going to come watch your two teams, Collingwood, Carlton, on Friday night. I don't know who I'm going to support. Both, I don't like either of you, but we'll see. And then we'll head down to Geelong on Saturday. Watch a good team. Geelong, that is, not us, unfortunately. But look, it's a magical place. I do love me football, so.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Liam. And yeah, looking forward to having you on side. And a return of a bit of a cult favorite at the show, Andreas from Black and White United. Welcome back to the show, mate.
Thank you for having me. Very excited for tonight.
I think we all are. It's going to be a bit different tonight. I hope everyone is prepared because we're going a bit rogue, but it's going to be a good yarn by the end of it. Now, you've had a bit of a sabbatical in Greece. How was it, mate?
Yeah, so I did go to Spain as well to start off with, just for one quick week there with the wife, and then we went down to we went to Greece and saw some family. Went up in the village with all the goats and the donkeys and stuff like that, which was quite nice. And then went to the beach and everything. And then it was, I think we averaged about 36 degrees every day. And then the day that we left, the heat wave started, and then we get back here and it was 5 degrees in Melbourne when we landed. So I had to quickly take off the footy shorts, put the trackers on, and chuck the jumper on because it was ridiculously cold. So I'm surprised I'm not sick yet, but we'll see. We'll see if I can last the rest of the week.
No, that's fine. Plenty of goats and donkeys in Greece, and there'll be plenty of goats and donkeys at the MCG Friday night, Andreas.
That was the segue I was hoping that you'd take. So that's why I said it. So yeah.
Hey, fruit low hanging, we're taking it. And as always, we have our beautiful chat, the best community in AFL footy or AFL YouTube. I say we've got Lou Felino, Rat Poison. How are you, mate? I was hoping you'd make it for tonight's show. I've put together something just for you mate. Carlton Blazing Blues, our favorite Greek, Matula. Now, Andreas, I know you watch every show and you would have been watching it live on your holiday, but there has been a significant increase in the Greek population of the Fourever Rivals stream. They've been harassing Liam and I for weeks now. Hopefully, with your presence, you can kind of rein it back a bit. But
why are they all Collingwood supporters jumping on? Is that what you're trying to imply?
Of course they are. A bunch of Greek Collingwood supporters.
That's because I'm a good, substitute here and there coming in, doing my thing, cult figure. I promote the channel on my own pages and stuff like that. And then they all just follow and they all just come and I bring in everybody and then the ratings just go up. They all come out
of the woodwork, mate. The Greeks and the Collingwood supporters. Enzo Valentino, our most faithful viewer, Jai S, Rocco Moro. How's it feel? Liam's abandoned you, mate. You're only Perthwegian left in the chat. Ronnie.
We're still Perth, mate.
Adam Baggers. Nah, mate. You come to Melbourne, bro. You're never going back. Stuart McQuaid, Tribal Chief. Michael Simos. Now, out of all the Greeks, mate, this guy actually is a legend. And we love him. Seba, mate. You lit a fire under me, bro. So I had to come on and take over.
Where's he making tickets, Seba? Unlucky.
Yeah, Seba's out here promising tickets he doesn't have. We'll get to that later on. But and as always, Peter V, the most sick man in this chat. We love him. Actually, speaking of which, Peter V's provided us with some of his fantastic artwork that he's just conjured from the ether. What do we got? We got the Crows steamrolling the insipid Tigers. Look at little Rocco downhill skiing. Carlton, Mark. Oh yeah, he's working out the stats, bro. You got plenty of stats for tonight, Mark. You prepared?
Yeah, I've got a couple of stats, guys. I've got a couple of stats.
That's good because we know you're well on top of those things. We got Magpie Manny just kicking back in the recliner, just growing an extra head. It looks like on the side there, Liam. Unfortunately, he's gone hard on Richmond. Peter, and we've got yeah. Oh wait, hang on. And then and of course we've got the Collingwood just smashing the Eagles. You know what? For half of a half, it almost looked half decent.
For three quarters, mate, West Coast were right there.
Yeah. But unfortunately those flogs only need one quarter to beat.
Not even.
Not actually, really not even. So yeah, that's and of course just a bit of housekeeping, guys, before I forget. Every show here on the Jumper Punch is proudly brought to you by our major sponsor, the Sporting Globe Northland. And to remind everyone, we have our TJP catch-ups for every interstate game for the season at the Sporting Globe. Next game will be the Fremantle game, just over a month's time. Tickets are free. Links in the description just to show an expression of interest, just some numbers for the night. And just reminding everyone, of course, bladed cutlery is provided. Drive-through options are available, and there's a good chance there'll be an open fire somewhere in the vicinity to keep everyone warm. Bravo, Sporting Globe. Bravo, Northland. And just one, bro, like when I was trying to explain to my mum, because everyone knows now, I'm a good country boy. I hail from God's country, Warragul. And when I told my mum I was going to Northland to one of these things, she was about to slash my tires. And that was before they started throwing machetes at each other, trust me. But we also have our upcoming TJP live event coming up at the end of August. We have these a couple times a year. It's honestly the best night of the footy year. Our next event will be held at the famous Howler in Brunswick. They've had famous acts such as the Black Eyed Peas there before, and soon to be Jumper Punch. Tickets are selling fast. Try booking link is in the description. Please get in early. We want to have as many people there. It's a fantastic night, full of wog food and shit that I look at it. I don't know what it is, but it tastes great. And also plenty of guests. We've got confirmed our 90s hero, Brad Pierce, will be making an appearance, as well as another Carlton star that we haven't confirmed yet, but we're prepared to announce next week, I believe. So very exciting. I know Liam, Mark, and Andreas will be there. We've locked them in.
Yeah. Good luck.
What's for dinner? What's for dinner?
What's for dinner? Pasta. What are those things? Panna cotta. Is that like panna cotta? Is that like the tube with the cream in it?
Isn't it?
Chops, chips, and salad, mate. Chops, chips, and salad. That'll do.
Mate, if I had it my way, it'd be snags, 2-minute noodles, and I don't know, some Golden Gay times. Okay. Now, gentlemen, chat. I said we'd have a very special episode tonight because when the good boss Rocco gave me the keys for tonight, I thought I'd go out there, I'd do something a bit different. And I've got ourselves a very, very special Furbo. Thank you very much. Grazie, Furbo. This is a legit Italian that just joined the stream one night and has been popping in every night. Furbo, we're going to drop the link later. Please come on and show us your Olive Garden.
Namaste.
Yeah, namaste.
Namaste.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I've got a very special guest lined up. A subject of interest in the AFL world is the Tasmania Devils and the faltering, do we say, Macquarie Point Stadium. And like all good gentlemen, we have very strong opinions about things we know nothing about. So I've gone out of my way to find somebody who is very much in the know. His name is John McGowan. He's an independent candidate for the seat of Clark in Tasmania. Chat, please give him a very, very warm welcome to John McGowan. John McGowan's his name. Back in black is the election game, the campaign game. John, welcome to Fourever Rivals. Welcome to the Jumper Punch. How are we, mate?
Thanks, Scotty. Thanks for having me on. Thanks to everyone in the chat, except for Italians.
Okay. We got handbrake.
Oh, no.
All right. In the interest of being open and fair, I can reveal to the chat that John, despite his incredibly Anglo name, is unfortunately half Greek. So I just have to let everyone know that.
So breaking up the numbers on the panel now, I think we're in the majority, are we?
We'll be close to.
We actually are.
Yeah, close. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we're
Michael.
sitting about two and a half each, aren't we? I've actually don't even know your background, Marco. I'm just assuming Italian, but
Italian, mate. Sicilian, Italian.
Oh, I'm sorry, Marco. Sicilian.
Sicilian's even technically Italian.
Almost,
But you know what? I was born here and I'm Australian. So at the end of the day,
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we love to hear, Mark. Even that was Sicilian, aren't you? Like technically Lebanese.
Well,
North African almost.
Yeah.
It's closer to North Africa.
All right, Marco, we'll send you the 23andMe kit. We'll get it sent off in a few weeks' time. We'll get to the bottom of this. John, welcome to the show, mate. We're glad to have you on, and thank you for donating your time to us. A bit of a sticky point of contention, the stadium down in Tasmania. The whole panel, everyone's just interested to know, like, what the fuck's actually going on down there?
Yeah, good question. And I asked, that's the whole reason I ran for Parliament, because I got down here. I've been living in Sydney for a really long time. I grew up in Tassie. I got back to Tassie a few months ago, and I just thought it was a done deal. I thought, everything was ticking along nicely. Turns out this place is a complete basket case. Nothing's going well. I won't bore you with everything else that's going wrong in the state, but the stadium's right in the middle of the problem. I thought I'd tip my hat in the ring and run. I've since discovered I'm the only independent candidate who likes the stadium. It's no one down here, like no one in politics is a fan, but out and about, knocking on doors. There are a lot of Tasmanians who want this, a lot of Tasmanians who've been clamoring for a team, their whole lives. I remember gossip about a team when I was 12, so it is a big deal for Tassie to put it on the map. It's not the AFL without every state, right? So we've got to get one. We've got to get it across the line. So the big challenge is, how do you build this thing that everyone's too incompetent to build? Right? Like it looks like the Carlton management team in that parliament, and they can't get they just can't get their act together to get the thing across the ground.
Wow, I can't disagree with you on that, John. Actually, what I'm interested to know with the team, relation with the team and the stadium, it's kind of a chicken and the egg situation, because was the stadium already being proposed and then so the team could happen, or more so the team was kind of realized and then the stadium became part of the package?
Well, we don't know, because the government's just fundamentally dishonest and won't tell anyone. And in answer to, I think Mick put something up on the screen a second ago asking if I was a communist or a conservative independent. Yes. Yeah, I am quite a bit to the right. If you go on Twitter and look at my posts, I am what you might say a conservative.
Yes. Please, everyone, John McGowan on all socials. It's absolute ripper. Notifications on, please.
But in answer to your question, like, we just don't know, right? Because how it seems to have come about is these guys have, the AFL and a previous premier have sat down in a meeting, walked out with this deal, and we just don't know. Look, I mean, anyone who's ever worked at that level of sports administration will tell you that what probably happened was that they've gone in there begging for a team. I mean, I don't think anyone in their right mind wanted to blow $1 billion on a stadium. So they've gone into the AFL. I can't remember who the CEO was when this all started. It was like 2023.
Gil McLaughlin.
Yeah. Would have been McLaughlin, yeah. So they've gone in and they wanted a team. They've walked out owing the AFL a $1 billion stadium, right? And I've seen governments make this mistake my whole career, right? They walk in and think they're going to be negotiating with, meat-headed footy players. But the blokes who run the AFL are a lot smarter than anyone who runs our governments. So they've walked out with a bad deal. So the team from day one, like the team and the stadium were linked. And the AFL said, no, you don't get your team unless we get the stadium. And then they started layering it with conditions and said, well, now it's got to have a roof. The thing looks like a hothouse. Like, they've been dumping in more and more conditions as time's gone on. And now there's concerns about how much money the AFL is going to get out of it.
So can I just ask a question on that too, though? Is when the deals were being made for this stadium and obviously the team and they had to be linked in together, was there any sort of leeway? Like, I'm not sure if you would know, but was there any sort of leeway to say, listen, we'll start building the stadium like ASAP once the deal obviously got, the green tick, but then knowing that, things don't always finish on time. So if there was 1 year of leeway, then the club could play, between the two stadiums that are already in Tasmania at the moment?
They're suggesting that maybe there is now, but it's hard to tell if they're being honest because they're in the middle of an election campaign. So, I mean, they're now, after like months of talk, they're now saying that exact thing. But, I mean, no one knows if it's legitimate or not. I mean, we've got room. We've got Belrive, so Ninja. So we've got a place to go. Like, you could just easily do it. I mean, the team is all there because you can't get away from it down here. Like, administratively, it's all there. They don't have a training centre yet. The government's also promised to build that, which is, another classic thing about doing deals with the AFL. Like, you go in there, a stadium for a team, and like now, months later, we've now got a stadium, a training centre, $97 million car park. The government's just had to blow $400 million to move a sewer pipe for them. So you can see why there's a lot of opposition to the deal in the community, particularly from tree-hugging hippies, as someone pointed out. But there's just no nuance. There's just no compromise amongst anyone. Like, the entire state has now just split. Like, talk about forever rivals. Like, you've got on one side just people who are dead against it, and doesn't matter what you do, they're never going to want a stadium. And then on the other hand, you've got people wedded to it who just can't admit that some of the deal sucks and, are never going to go to the bargaining table to get a better deal. So we're just in this massive jam. And
so, but
the election will hopefully sort it out.
Wasn't the pricing and everything done when they were doing all the tendering and all this type of stuff, and then obviously making the deals with the government? Didn't the state government pledge a certain amount, and then the federal government came up and pledged X amount to obviously cover the last bit of the costing and stuff like that? Has that actually gone out now to commercial builders and they've chosen a builder and stuff to do it, or are they still just say yes, we're doing it, and they haven't actually chosen which contractor's building it, and they haven't gone down that path yet?
Well, so this is a huge problem that came into effect on when was the 30th, Monday. So there's still the approval process for the stadium is still tied up in what's called our planning commission. So they're still doing hearings about whether or not to even build the thing. Because it was going to take so long, and because the AFL insisted on clauses in the contract that say the government's going to have to pay them if it's not done on time, plus it puts the team in jeopardy. They haven't done any of that work. And then they all came into effect on Monday. So they haven't gone out to market. The price just keeps going up. I think in the beginning he promised 375 million. Then he got the top up from the federal government, and then the AFL were chipping in a little bit. And that was kind of the budget for it, which is around about right. I mean, I helped build Allianz Stadium in New South Wales. And Allianz, I mean, we had budget blowouts, massive ones on that. And that ran up to 730 million, right? And if you've been to Allianz and you've seen the pictures in Macquarie Point, I mean, Allianz is a pretty good deal for 730 million. So this is just blowing out even more now. And, you know, when they first designed it, didn't have a car park. It's now got a $100 million car park. Now it's got to have this roof, which isn't retractable. It's literally just a Perspex roof. So they just keep changing things. I mean, at some point, they just do have to sit down and, you know, come to some kind of agreement.
So what's the two governments saying? What's the two, well, like the current government and the opposition? Are they, is it sort of like a, I don't know, what's that word, bipartisan agreement to have it yes
kinda,
or no?
Yeah.
Or like
kind of bipartisan, but not really, because the Liberals are just locked in. The Liberals won't entertain any changes. Labor is saying they want to get it done, but Labor is saying, well, we're going to go and look at the contracts. They're kind of socialising that there might be a delay, but promising that they'll try and avoid it. I think, and of course, the Liberals are seizing on that and saying, well, if you vote Labor, the stadium's uncertain. I mean, you know, when you look at Labor voters down here, I'm pretty sure that, you know, Labor's going to back it, but there are questions around timeframes. I mean, maybe a wait could be helpful, but
I've got a quick question for you, John, when you've got a chance, mate. I'm not really into politics and so forth, buddy, but I just like, is there some certain kind of deadline or a date where, you know, this can progress? You know, we all talk about funds and money and so forth, but is there a certain time where the government or the AFL will stop it and say, right, if you guys don't want to proceed, it just stops? You know what I mean? Is there a deadline? Is there a deadline?
Unfortunately, no. Well, I mean, that deadline was technically on Monday, right?
Okay.
But we're in the middle of an election, and so the AFL are kind of taking the pressure off a little bit, and I think they want to find out where the cards lay after the 19th of July when polling day is. But mate, you've actually, I mean, you said you don't know much about politics, but you've actually said the most sensible thing, which is that normally in a negotiation, normally in a contract, you will have that clause. You'll have some, you know, point at which you can back out of it. This thing was done by amateurs, and there is no such thing in this contract. It's like, it's written on the fly.
It's interesting considering like a deadline for a stadium is, you know, quite obvious, but then when a team's involved, clearly, like when it comes to recruitment, their involvement with at the VFL level and the AFL level, starting, I believe, in 2027, it's really which horse is pulling the cart here as well. I mean, and without having a transparent process, like none of us really have any idea of what's going on and what's.
But that's the thing. That's the main thing. Sorry to interrupt you there, but this was the next point that I was going to make, is that the flow-on effect from all the crap that's going on with the government, the election, and all the funding and stuff like that, the flow-on effect actually doesn't necessarily affect Tasmania directly as much as it does. It affects our clubs. It affects the rest of the competition, because you've got recruitment, you've got compromised drafts and stuff like that coming in. You got the flow-on effect for, you know, the actual AFL, the actual game itself. Like, what happens, you know, if all of a sudden the drafts are compromised and then there's an extra delay and then they don't know what's going on? I mean, I don't think it'll get to that point. I think sensible heads will probably prevail at the end, but you're running a real risk of, you know, compromising drafts. But even now, where all clubs, and I'm pretty sure I can speak on behalf of all our clubs when I say this, like, they're already planning what to do in the next, 2 or 3 drafts, we're going to have a potentially the allowance of trading off future first round picks and everything to get players into their side where, you can actually not bottom out when you've got new teams coming into the competition. So there's this massive flow-on effect that the AFL is going to have to deal with in the club. It's going to affect the clubs directly until they come up with some sort of deadline. And is that going to be right after the election? Because then you've got changeover of government and all this type of stuff too. So there's an extra, 2 months more to this whole thing that you might add on.
And in government, everything takes longer. And look, this is why you hit the nail on the head with like the flow-on effects, because I think this is where a lot of the reticence from the AFL comes from. Like, I think there's probably a faction inside the AFL who just sees dollar signs and says, hey, these jokers are going to build us a $1 billion stadium. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. There's probably a lot of guys who are, thinking exactly like that. But there's also a massive risk involved just to the AFL's brand. And Tasmania has got to be after Victoria, this is an AFL town, right? Like, membership rates for Hawthorn and North Melbourne down here for when they play games are through the roof, right? So the AFL has a really great reputation down here before all this. It
also goes to show the amount of effort that was put by, especially those two clubs over the last 2 decades in the state. For Gil McLachlan as well, because really he kind of threw the license over his back shoulder when he was out the door. It was pretty much on his last couple of days that he announced the team. And and if we're talking about flow-on effects, Gil McLachlan was chilly one night at Ballarive Stadium, and that has become basically almost a constitutional crisis in Tasmania.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. We could have installed heaters at Bellerive and avoided all this, and maybe another 3,000 seats somehow. I've been around a fair while. I'm not as youthful as I look. And I know that this isn't the second time the Tassie government's tried this on. So the last time they made a serious effort to get a team, and there was no discussion of a stadium at the time, but was prior to GWS coming in. And so in the lead up to that, there was gossip that there was room for another team. The New South Wales government were making a big push with their sports minister to get GWS. And so the Tasmanian government went in and tried to do the same thing. And it was just an abject failure. And Eddie Maguire was said to just be openly derisive of it and laughing at them and saying Tasmania is never going to have a team. So this isn't the first time they've done it. They failed last time. What they've done very cleverly this time is they've just gotten the Tasmanian public massively behind the team. And I know that the $5 sticker memberships have something to do with that. We're going to have to build the training centre. It's going to be 5 stories tall to accommodate all the names they promised to the founding members. They said they're going to chisel into the outside of it. Yeah, it's like 500,000. There's like 575,000 people in Tasmania. Do you know if you go on Wikipedia and look at sports teams by membership, the Tasmanian Devils is in the top 10 behind Real Madrid. And
no asterisks.
It's huge. So look, my thing, I really want the stadium, right? And that's for purely economic reasons. Tasmania is doing really badly right now, and we need to build something, anything. We need the morale of having a footy team. It's going to give people an enormous boost. It's just really disappointing that it's just become this divisive issue, and you can't be in the middle of it. No one. I try, but everyone kind of has to just pick a side and then go for the other side's throat. And it's the risk is that the AFL will to mix sports metaphors, pick up their bat and ball and go home at some point. If as Andreas said, if there's going to be downstream issues for the other clubs, and the other clubs are going to have some influence over the future of it. If there's going to be massive brand damage, and you're going to see people walking away from their support of particularly Hawthorn and North Melbourne, and if it's going to end up with just dragging on, they'll end up then supporting a team and getting nothing back out of it. I think there is a real risk that the AFL just walks and just scrubs us off the bottom of the map and pretends we don't exist.
It's one of the most disappointing things about the situation, because especially footy, it's such an integral part of Australians' culture, their identity, their families, and especially for Tasmanians as well. Everyone likes to say us on the mainland, we say a thing or two about Tasmanians, but they're still a part of us.
Got my second head scar there.
Yeah. We all bleed the same. We share the same culture and love, especially for this sport. And to kind of be handed this poison chalice and to have it, dumped over the top of you, it's really not fair of anyone in the situation. Which I've kind of been against the team just for fairness of the competition, but from when I've heard you speak about it, it's much bigger than just a footy team. A stadium, it's far larger. Like as a concept, when it comes to a city and modernizing a place, it's a project for Tasmanians, which I think they should deserve. Every capital
That's
city.
That's it over my shoulder for the chat. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Which actually, we might just play this quietly in the background. We've got the render of the stadium that was released.
Yeah.
That's not it.
No.
Hang on.
That's what the processes look like.
Yeah, here we go. So this is what was revealed on Monday, and it's impressive. Like it's a 23,000 seater or 27.
27.
It'll be 27 now. Yeah.
Yeah. And what this doesn't show, though, which your background does, is the location. Which, what's kind of forgotten, without this stadium, what is it now? Just shipyards, like like what the fuck?
There's a lot of
Like
heritage
shipping containers
buildings and yeah, it's pretty gross down there. And this is one of the other factors. Like they've just kind of written the location on the back of a notepad, basically, and no one stopped to think, well, it's pretty gross out there. Like it's been an industrial area before. The whole thing needs remediating. Like if you had time over, like you probably wouldn't have wanted to build it there, really. Like it was going to be a lot of drama. The Tasmanians are funny though, like and I'm probably guilty of this too. Like we don't drive anywhere. Like even just if you live in Hobart, just the thought of driving 15 minutes to Bellerive, like people pack groceries in the car in case they run out of food. So, there is this kind of culture down here where everyone thought, well, it's got to be in Hobart, and if you wanted it in Hobart, that was the only place to put it.
So just on that, didn't they originally want the stadium at another place than Macquarie Point? Wasn't it like Regatta Point or something like that? Can you?
Yeah. There was one other point. So there was another plan. So, and this was kind of like a side quest in the whole journey to the stadium. There was a point at which, when the blowback on the government started and punters started saying, well, you can't. At this point, it wasn't even $1 billion. It was only like 600 million or something. But they said, we'll go out to market and we'll do a public-private partnership. And so they had the private consortium that offered. They did have they had more than one location that they proposed. They had a plan to do it anywhere where they could get the land. So there was another location proposed by a private consortium, and then the government's just ruled that out. The government's decided, no, we're going it alone. We're doing it ourselves. We're going to borrow to build it. And this was, 6-7 months ago. And then we're now $13 billion in debt here with a $1 billion a year surplus into perpetuity. So options are now very limited financially. I mean, that's the criticism opponents of the stadium level at it. Like I'm of the view that a $1 billion stadium over the next decade is a drop in the ocean of the state's debt. Like I just don't.
But that's correct. That's correct. You'd think though that after time, no worries, that you put it towards the state's debt, whatever it is. But the amount of people that it will attract, and the football team, the amount of money it would generate into Tasmania alone, and for the government, you'd be able to pay that back pretty quickly. And you can look at examples like the Jack Jumpers. You can look at the examples like with obviously the Big Bash, the Tassie team down there. I mean, their support's massive. So, and then you're going into a football state. Of course, people are going to buy jerseys. People are going to buy memberships. People are going to, and then you sign decent players or whatever it is from other clubs, and you draft well. I mean, you pay that off. Don't even start that. But that stuff will, pay it off pretty quickly. You would have thought anyway.
But so this brings up the final two issues I'll bore the chat with before they lynch you guys. The fact that, like you said, it should make money. Well, unfortunately, every bit of paper we've seen so far says it's not, and we don't really know why. And the only explanation I can think of for why they're saying just 44 cents to the dollar return on investment is because the AFL is clipping the ticket on a lot of the elements of running a stadium that are normally very profitable, but also it's only 5 games a year. So those are the two big kind of final issues. So we're having this huge discussion, this huge issue over 5 matches a year. Like, and then on top of that, like, where's the money going? I mean, they're talking about selling the naming rights to the thing for just $1.25 million. I mean,
That's
naming rights. Allianz naming rights went up. I actually can't say it. It's a New South Wales secret, but it was expensive. Like,
that was a close one. That was close.
Yeah, I just realised. I just saw the NDA I signed in my head. But then you've got the issue of, like, ribbon, like LED ribbon advertising on in stadiums. I mean, they're lowballing this at like $4 or $5 million revenue a year. I mean, you can price gouge these guys because the sponsors, the major sponsors, Toyota, McDonald's, they need brand equity, right? Even if it's only 5 games a year, they can't afford to have one game where there's not a huge bloody Toyota logo in the middle of the oval. They can't not have McDonald's ads around the outside. They have to pay what you charge them. I mean, you could conceivably pay get $40-50 million per year, even just out of 5 games, just by really gouging them. But there's just no appetite for it. Yeah. So that's where it's landed.
Just from a lack of experience from the locals, or just incompetence.
Look, I blame incompetence. Like, I've spoken to a lot of guys. I've spoken to guys who worked on Allianz. I've spoken to guys who worked on Marvel. I know a lot of guys just in sports administration generally, and consultants who've worked on stuff. And I mean, the one thing they've all said is, well, no one talked to us. Like, the top guys in the country who do this shit, I mean, they weren't involved in it, which means, it was just Tasmanian public servants and people in the ministerial offices cutting the deal. They're not going to know, like, the ins and outs of it. They're not going to know that, dealing with the AFL is like dealing with a barrel of crocodiles. Like, it's not easy. I think they've gone into it and just thought, these are just meat-headed footy players. This is going to be easy.
I think that's a reflection. I think that's a reflection on the entire construction industry at the moment in Australia. So not just in Tasmania. So
Which unions are sniffing around the project?
Well, it's an interesting thing, right? That private proposal I told you about. The proponent of that was a bloke called Paul Lennon, who's a former Tasmanian premier, deep in with the Tasmanian unions. There's other issues too, like Federal Group, who own the West Point Casino. So they're bankrolling a lot of the anti-stadium stuff because the land, they've got options to develop like luxury hotels in some of these heritage buildings. Petra says it's not another woke stadium. Well, I mean, at this point, but I mean, this is a really interesting point that, is one of the reasons I was interested to talk to you guys, because like locally in Tasmania, like, you just don't hear from footy fans about this. And the government has never, like, if I was Jeremy Rockcliffe, I would have come on shows like this. I would have bombarded every YouTube channel, because there's dozens of these shows. Like, I would have been on all your shows by this point, spruiking the stadium, getting fans in Tassie and around the country excited.
When you're speaking about a premier of a state, when we look at our own clubs, boards, and our presidents, we're begging them to come on these shows as well.
Yeah. But I would have wanted to do it. I would have said to my advisors, hey, make me a list of every podcast in Australia talking about footy. I will go on to 20
We have a list for you. We got Arabs.
Yeah.
We got every breed of wog. We got them all.
But instead, you know how they tried to sell this to the public is, the Tasmanian Devils women's team, right? Like, from day one, like, that was as soon as the thing was announced. It was women up in front. Like, they were like, oh, we're gonna have a woman problem with selling the stadium, so let's put all that up front. So what they failed to do was actually get blokes like you in Tasmania excited about the team. Like, I walk up to guys with cars plastered with footy stickers when I'm door knocking, and they say to me, oh, I don't really support it because they've buggered it up and it's too expensive. And they're like, well, if you couldn't get footy fans, like flying footy team flags on their front lawns, if you couldn't get them excited about a stadium and a new team, you've really screwed up. And if you thought that the way to get it across to everyone was, the CEO of the Tasmanian Devils, kicking the footy around with girls every day. Like that was never going to work. That was never going to get people excited. You know?
No, absolutely not. Well, John, since you're here and technically this is the press gallery, I figured might as well throw a couple up to you. Now you're a highly credentialed man with a lot of experience in politics. Would you mind giving the chat a bit of an explanation about your history and how that makes you a worthy candidate for Clark?
Well, I mean, a lot of it probably would turn people off me. I was a senior advisor to the Liberals for many years until I got the shits with them and started my own consulting firm in 2019. I've worked for almost every state government that matters in Australia. I've never worked for Adelaide. We never worked in Adelaide, but I've worked everywhere else. I've worked for a lot of fairly controversial private clients, including the media will never let me live down the fact I was the former media advisor to Bruce Lehrman. So if this politics thing doesn't work out for me, I might have a career, cleaning up messes for blokes at the AFL.
So I've got a list of projects for you that could utilize your specific set of skills. Now, I won't name the footy club, but it is located in Geelong. That could deal with a very thorough investigation.
I've worked overseas. Like I actually spent a bit of time in Ukraine, weirdly, before the war. But I've worked in the UK. I've worked around the world.
Well, you've been to almost nearly every nuclear accident site of note in the globe, haven't you?
Yeah, not for work. That was just a personal interest. Like I just thought it'd be funny to get my photo taken at every single nuclear accident site.
So Malcolm Turnbull's not calling up the office saying, "We need this man at Chernobyl now."
Yeah, that's how it started. Because when you're in Chernobyl, like there's no footy to watch in Chernobyl. Like in Ukraine. So the only thing to do is to take the tourist bus out to Chernobyl and look at it. So yeah, look, I mean, am I qualified to be an MP? Look, probably not. But like a lot of people, I just got really pissed off at how things were going, and the stadium was just one factor, right? Like these guys can't manage a budget. They're just roundly useless. Look, chances of me winning are very low. But I've worked in politics a really long time, and I know how bad campaigns are and how insipid politicians can be. So I thought it might just be fun to do it myself and just to test whether or not you can just be aggressively honest with people and say what you really think. And then you'll probably get like 4 votes. So, I'll prove my theory that you do have to just lie through your teeth and be a prick to get elected.
I think that's the type of honesty that everyone can appreciate, surely.
Plus, I didn't want to cut my hair just for the campaign. So
I was going to say quickly too, just before you go, can you just tell us how you turned water into wine as well?
No, bro, that's too.
With great difficulty.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I'm half Greek, right? It gives them something to hold on.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. I came prepared with banter, so I knew what it was going to be like.
Yeah. Well, what particular brand of sorcery do you specialize in? Are you more of a necromancer, druid?
Well, at this stage, I just want to raise Carlton from the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could find this.
So I'm more of a thaumaturge myself. I like to work miracles here and there. So
yeah, right. Okay.
It's amazing, Scotty. A couple of weeks ago, mate, I was thinking about shaving my head because everyone had shaved heads on the show.
Oh, you should have shaved your head after.
Now I'm thinking about growing my hair, mate. I'm thinking about going back to the old.
You'd look good, mate.
Yeah, mate. Like,
you'd look good.
1 minute to shave it. Next minute now I'm starting to grow.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Marco, you'd look great with long hair. Liam too. Andreas.
I can't. Literally, I'm bald as well.
20 years ago, I had some hair longer than both of you boys, mate. I'll tell you right now. It was right up until my back, mate. That was the days of the heavy metal days. So that's all long gone. But
Blue Bag, I don't use shampoo, but the reason why the hair looks so good is because it's Tasmanian water. The water down here is so good; it makes your hair look
true.
nice.
The
Bogues. What's that? Bogues beer or something?
Bogues. Well, I'm in the south, so we drink Cascade down in the south of the state. Bogues is for the north. Hey, I mean, this is a really good question that I want answered about the stadium. Right? Is well, what beer are they going to serve at the stadium? Because Tasmania is unique. We have 2 state beers, one in the north, one in the south. So who's going to get the beer? Like, if I was organising this deal, I would have sorted that out like day one. Like the contract for which stadium beer, what might have actually paid for the thing.
Would they actually go internally, or would it just be similar Carlton Draft, Stone and Wood? Like,
if they're serving Carlton Draft at this new stadium, like it's made, it's half made out of wood. I'll burn the thing down.
That's what we're
No, I think that's
why I haven't been to a game at the MCG in 20 years. I won't drink it.
Yeah. Or no, I reckon VB would be a good choice, actually.
VB's okay. VB's okay. I mean, you know what though? They put this to bed really quickly. But at one point, I think it was the Greens or someone was demanding that the stadium only serve mid-strength beers.
Oh,
So,
don't worry. We've got that here in Vic.
That's happens in Melbourne, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, and they'll still charge you $14 for it.
Yeah, that's an absolute disgrace. It's not on my watch. Vote 1 for full strength beers at every stadium. I'll be running in the next federal election to sort that out.
Yeah, and well, it's only a 2-level stadium, so they'll still let you have the aluminum cans as well.
That's nuts. Yeah. But they've done that at festivals and stuff before, where they make sure they give you little shitty mid-strength beers and mid-strength tins. But yeah, so, there's a lot of issues with the stadium. We will sort it out eventually.
Yeah. Liam, I know you had some valuable.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, you could have jumped in at any
polite.
time.
You know me, I'm polite. I'll let everyone speak first. That's how we roll.
Can't be polite on this show, mate.
You know me, mate. That's how I work. Right, but just a couple for John. Just back on the stadium again. Obviously. But the first one is I read through your statement, and you spoke about some of the other stadiums that are being developed worldwide or around, and just how they're priced and how they're compared to the Tasmanian stadium. Why are those ones going through? Why is your one struggling? Is it mainly to do with that AFL deal?
That's a really good question, mate. That's a fantastic question. Let me just pull it up right now for you. There's 14 constructions under construction globally. And like, there's 4 of them you can just cut out from really thinking about. They're all being built in the Gulf states. Like, they're not really that relevant. Oh, yeah. The other 10 are spread pretty equally between Northern Europe and the United States. And the average price for these things is actually about what we're paying. Now, some of them are a bit bigger, but stadium construction, the construction contracts are probably all using the same international vendors for a lot of the materials. I imagine that at the material level, the prices kind of stay the same. So you're looking around like 500 million USD for, like, particularly the ones I've been looking at are these really big college football stadiums in the US. And then when you look at the football stadiums that they're building like regionally in the UK, which are smaller, but they have to have a lot more amenity because they're just having so many games, like multiple games per week, and they pack out. Like they regularly pack out for the things like the Premier League and stuff. So, like, price point and scale, like, we're about the same. Where it breaks down, where our deal breaks down, and where these deals go ahead, because, like, particularly in the United States, you can go online, and I was looking at one which is a college football stadium that's being built in Wisconsin, which is a really good example because Wisconsin's about the same size as Tasmania. When I looked at it, their business plan was showing like $1.20 return on the dollar, and that was from playing a game every single weekend. That was from renting it out throughout the week for events. That was for concerts at night. Like, that was inclusive of advertising. They were monopolizing food and beverage. They were building a giant car park next to it, and they were going to let that out to one of the colleges. Like, they'd done this really good plan, and it was like hideously expensive stadium. It was $600 million US. So that's a lot more than our stadium. But the dollars and cents matched up, and like the guys who were building it had brought in private equity who were basically selling it and saying, yeah, we're going to make 20 cents to the dollar on this thing. So it's worth it. It's actually a pretty good investment, especially if you have interest in the construction companies and the team and whatever. So for us, like, like if you were the Tasmanian government and you had a bit of extra money in the kitty, and you said, "Hey, what about a stadium?" Which is the exact conversation that we had in New South Wales with Mike Baird and Gladys Berejiklian. Like they said, "Hey, we got extra money. We're doing okay. Let's build a stadium." Then you would start from scratch, and you would make sure it was going to have something on every weekend. You would make sure you were making money out of all this stuff. But that's not how it went down here. Like, I mean, Peter Gutwin, the former premier, has just walked out of a meeting with the AFL with McLaughlin, and he's just said, "Well, we've got to build a stadium so we can have our team that I've promised everyone." So that's where this whole thing starts. It's just this dud deal. Like, there's a way, if you had $1 billion, spare $1 billion, you could build a spectacular stadium, and the government could make money. But not when it started like this.
As a comparison, John, do we know much about the deal for Victoria Park in Brisbane, how that's rolling at the moment?
The deal for Victoria Park, let me just have a look at it. I wrote it down the other day. I think that's structured a lot differently in terms of who's actually paying for it. So because it's the Olympics, I mean, they're going to get a ton of federal money, and also Olympic infrastructure ends up getting sold a lot of the time. So I think part of the reason why they can afford to blow $3.7 billion is that they know that long after the Olympics is over, they'll put that on the market, which is exactly what New South Wales did with Homebush. So, that was government money, that was Commonwealth money that built Homebush and the whole precinct for the Olympics. And then when it was all done and dusted, the government, well, long before I worked for them, just carved it up into little bits and sold it off. And, decades later, they actually made a little bit of money out of the Olympics, particularly out of selling like all the places where the competitors lived, like with the Olympic Village, all got sold off as apartments, So I think that's why everyone's copying $3.785 billion on the chin, because it's not like they're just going to be holding this asset forever. And you've got the Olympics as well. I mean,
bring it back to an earlier point of yours, John. Like, even from $1 billion to even $3.5 billion. I mean, a lot of mainland governments wouldn't even blink at that.
No. Well, you've got to have the money. I mean, look, when this all started, this is the other sad thing about all this, is that when this all started, 2022, 2023, Tasmania could absolutely have afforded this, right? Like, we came out the back of COVID pretty good. And, there were some services delivery issues and whatever. But, I mean, generally, the financial condition here was pretty good. It's the last 3 or so years where things have declined really sharply. The stadium actually has nothing to do with why we're in such dire economic straits. So, it wouldn't have been that big a deal. It would have been like a fraction of our state debt. I mean, it still is. I mean, it's, we're in $13 billion of debt here. So, it's, 8 odd percent. I've seen even some assessments as low as 6% of our total debt, which should not be that big a deal, especially when, like, it is 40 cents to the dollar. So you are making some money out of it in the long run. So yeah, it shouldn't have cost that much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Liam?
Is that what's holding it up then? Is it just poor money management from the government that's holding up? Because just like
no.
Like so I'm from Perth, so we've got Optus Stadium, and that went well over budget. I went to 1.6, but like I heard you speaking about like their naming rights before. I think Optus paid,
you made money out of it, yeah,
50 mil for 10 years, which I think is a bit more.
Yeah, well, I can tell you without breaking any confidences that's similar to what Allianz was. Yeah, well, no, unfortunately, this is a crazy thing, right? Like, it's not even the money. It's not the money that really is the impediment, because the government said they're just going to borrow to do it. So the money's there. We have a AA+ credit rating. Well, we did. We hopefully still will. So they can just borrow to do it. So the money's not the issue. The issue, part of the issues is if you've ever worked in planning or construction, I mean, it's hard just doing a $1 million house development, let alone a $1 billion stadium development, right? Building everything in this country is bloody hard. So they've got to go through all these approval processes, and they've decided, again, probably just through incompetence, that the fastest way to do this was to pass a bill through the parliament, which means they have to get agreement from everyone to pass it. And Labor, I mean, didn't want to do it. Like Labor then brought on a no confidence motion, triggered an election. So unfortunately, it's that is the problem. It's just it's the politics. It's not the money. You know, like there's ways to bring costs down eventually. Like if they were smart, you know, they could keep the costs reasonably low. They could sell things off. They could or sell off elements of the revenue streams from the stadium, or they could keep they could pay for them and then earn the revenue over time. There are just stacks of options. They just don't seem to be interested in doing any of them. They seem more interested in arguing and leaving the state in anxiety. Where, you know, half the punters, and when you look at the polling, like it is half and half. So you got half the punters who are just completely invested in a team, in having the Tasmanian Devils. And then you got another half of the punters who've just made their entire identity around, sorry, lads, I'm just having a laptop. Who've made their entire identity about campaigning against it. So, you know,
yeah, well, even
that's the problem we have right now.
Adelaide Oval was quite controversial for people living in Adelaide, and now it's the jewel of that shithole.
Yeah, exactly.
Same as here.
Yeah. They just did it regardless of public sentiment. So is it true that if the Liberals were able to maintain, and I guess yourself, you're in favour of kind of rushing that legislation through and kind of removing all those political stopgaps?
Yeah, controversially I am. And my motivation for that is, I mean, having been involved in developments before, like it's only going to get slower. You can't speed it up later on. They've got a pathway to get it done. The smartest thing to do right now is just to get it done. There's also issues with a delay. I mean, the Aussie dollar right now is shithouse. I mean, we joke, we call it the Pacific peso, right? That's not going to get much better. So you know, there's no IKEA for stadiums. You can't just go and buy the bits and put it together yourself. You buy this stuff from overseas, which is
where are you going to buy that latticed wooden roof? And
well, actually, funnily enough, the wood is Tasmanian, so we do have the wood. Like we've got the wood situation taken care of, but everything else, we don't have. So. If we don't do it now, the Aussie dollar gets worse, it gets more expensive. Then if inflation keeps going up, then it's going to keep getting more expensive. So, you know, the smartest thing to do is if you've got it, like, I would say in terms of the approval processes, the funding, we're at like the 50% mark, and we could rush it through and get it done this year. The smartest thing to do, if you're going to do it, is do it this year rather than wait. Because then it's just the blowout's just going to get dramatically worse.
Yeah, no, I mean it definitely makes sense when it's phrased like that, absolutely. And kind of even talking about rushing it now, we're almost well beyond the point of if it was done competently from the start, there would be no need for the rush, really. And then to throw an election into the middle of it.
Yeah. If it had been done competently at the start with the original 2028 start date, we would now be looking at a crane at Macquarie Point. Like it would be under construction right now. You would be on track for the 27 draft. I mean, and plus if we had have shown good faith and had got it all done, I mean, I think there's a slim chance they might have brought it forward. But I mean, at this point, I don't even know if we could make 27. You know, I think, you know, if Labor gets in and they start dotting the I's and crossing the T's on this, it could blow out to 2030. And I think that if the Liberals get in and they continue their kind of pig-headed attitude to negotiation, it just may well never happen. So, which is ironic considering they're more firmly in support of it. So
John, just quickly, I do have one question to ask. Just a simple yes or no, if you possibly could. Is the stadium going to be ready regardless of what happens by 2028?
No.
In your opinion? Yeah. Okay.
In my opinion, no.
I think that's a general consensus with pretty much everyone in the football.
Look, do I think it should? Yes, but honestly, no. I just don't think they can do it.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that was fantastic, John. You've given the chat and us plenty things to talk about at the water cooler tomorrow.
That was serious chat too. We really got
Yeah.
You know, you guys did better. I know you guys are known for your bants, but that you guys did better as current affairs journalists just then than like
I think we got called.
anyone on the ABC.
Yeah, we got called four corners by someone in the chat too.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
You guys. Yeah, they cancelled Q&A on ABC. I reckon they could get you guys on.
We'll take over, man.
Hey, we'll take
can't
it.
talk
We'll take it.
About Italians and Greeks on there though.
No. We're bringing it back.
I wouldn't let Rocco on.
We're bringing back the WQ.
So can I just go back to my formal Fourever rivals?
Yes, of course,
Thank you.
Mark, of course.
Mark,
Mark, did you get dressed up for me? Was that right? 'Cause we were doing serious journalism.
Bro,
So
he
Mark was
he took his shirt off the other week and got half naked for us.
Oh.
So you're lucky you didn't do that.
Right.
for him.
I'm
He
sad.
must
I missed
really like
that.
you.
no, we're back to the bomber banters and the Fourever
Don't
rivals.
look good anymore.
Look like you were going to court, Mark. You look like you were just doing like a court thing, like online.
Hey,
you
what's
could
that
actually go to court.
cap? What's that? That's not an Australia cap.
Isn't it?
Oh, that's the West Indians cap. West
Now,
Indians cap.
I'm not a boomer, John, but isn't that like sacrosanct? Like, why isn't he going for his
What?
national team?
Mate, I
What's
mean,
your
Australians were huge West Indies fans back in the 90s, like because we sucked at that back then. So frequently we wouldn't be in tests. So
Well,
you would go for it with the
you
Indies.
support your team or your club, regardless of what nationality you are, what country you're from. You know, you got Carlton supporters out there still barracking for Carlton. Although the West Indies are not playing some great cricket at the moment, I'll keep on supporting them.
If we do get this Tassie team off the ground, my old man is still going to go for Carlton. Like he's not waiting.
Good man,
No.
good man.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm interested about the whole Tassie thing. Everyone's hyped about it, but because that's one of the biggest faux pas you can make is changing your team.
No, and it's going to be really interesting for what happens with Hawthorn and the Blues because they have massive memberships down here. Like, and I've mates on the mainland.
North Melbourne's already left the state. They're going to be they sold their games to WA after next year.
But they haven't lost the fans at all. Like I know,
North Melbourne fans, they're always just a bit behind. They're just on delay, really.
Yeah. So it'll be
Just get it done, Tassie.
Yeah.
Just get it done, mate. Just get it done, Tassie, mate. Just get it done. You're going to get rewarded for it.
I'll ask you guys a question though, because you guys know a lot more about the nuts and bolts of footy than I do. Like, what's the prevailing view just on the other team? Like, how does it affect the league? Like, is there Andreas was saying about the drafts? Like, there's this about explain to me what's the worry about how it's going to affect the drafts?
Personally, I hate it just because I think we need less teams and more, and I don't really trust the AFL to be able to manage it competently. And just the fact that you introduce another team, the talent's already pretty thin as it is, and it's just going to get even thinner. And especially with the first few crops of draftees that are going to be forced down there. I know Tasmania is a lovely place, but it's pretty far from home for a lot of these kids. And
we do generate a lot of homegrown talent though. Like we've had some decent guys come out of here. We've also had some guys who probably should have done better, but just got in at bad times. Aaron Cornelius, who played for the Lions, was a really great Tasmanian footy player. He was a coach for Collingwood. He only ended up doing one
Chris
season.
Fagan, of course, famously from Tasmania.
Yeah. So we do produce a lot of talent, and we've got the TFL too. And I love watching TFL teams. Like if you want to watch a scrappy regional team, stream the TFL. It's an enormous amount of fun. But it's interesting. I hadn't really thought about the draft issues. I don't know if I can.
There's also, isn't it?
Yeah, there's also the fixturing issues as well. Like now you're going to have, we've got all these buys happening now, and then you're going to have now. You have to have one team having a buy pretty much every single week once they come into the competition. So then the flow-on effect to that side of the whole thing is that you're going to have a 20th team in to even up the competition in numbers. But do you really want to have 20 teams in the top tier competition? It's just where's the stopping point to it? Which means that then if Tassie gets delayed and they've got all this compromised bullshit happening, to get another team into it, which they're definitely going to get a 20th license. It's inevitable. Like you're talking now 15, 20 years down the track, and you got that hanging over the head of the whole fixture now. You know what I mean? Like for 20, like for at least 10 years, you're going to have the team having a bye every week. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. Build the stadium, don't have the team, in my opinion. But yeah.
I mean, that was one option. Hey, I mean, it's interesting. Like you saw my press release about me supporting the stadium. Like I got to admit, I am actually a little bit agnostic on the team, right? I mean, I think the case for the team, it was always kind of exploitative by the politicians, right? Like it was like that they were kind of exploiting the heartstrings of the public to get the team up. So, you know, I'm not. You know, if we lose the team and when we lose the stadium, I actually think losing the stadium is the bigger loss to the state, because you know the team isn't $1 billion worth of infrastructure. But I mean, I think Tasmanians would like to see it though. Like, and these guys are mad for it. I mean, I don't think you appreciate how much these games would pack out. Like even at 5 games a year, they will be packed. Like Tasmanians will be insane. So, anyway,
fantastic. Now, pardon me, John, but I'm a little bit conscious of time, and I don't want to hold you here for too long. And Andreas is on a time limit as well. Do you want a proper under the pump test?
Cool.
This will test if you're legit or not. All right.
Let me hit my vape first. Hold
on. Go for it, bro. Hang on. Last Friday night there was a game. Port Adelaide versus Carlton. Port Adelaide 16-14, 110. Carlton 8-12-60. Now, John, you have admitted to being afflicted with the Blues virus, mate. What did you think of the game?
I got up and I left for the last 20 minutes to have a beer and a smoke while my dad continued screaming at the television. No drywall is safe in our house. It was bad. And look, we keep talking a lot around the house about why they're so bad. You know, I'm a huge Voss apologist. Like when you look at the actual performance over the last decade, I mean, at this rate, I mean, maybe 11th on the ladder. You know, I mean, that's one of their best results since 2013, right? So, you know, they have just been performing consistently badly, but it's probably not their worst ever year. I mean,
the argument
their worst ever year.
Yeah, the argument is that Voss has averaged 13 to 14 wins per season since he came on, but when you look at the list itself, the talent that's on that list will almost naturally get you that 13 wins. I just feel
that's the issue that I think particularly that came out in that Adelaide game is you do have all this talent and he's just moving him around, and it's hard to see what the strategy is on the field. Guys being moved up forward all the time. You know, I don't know. You know, is that the problem? Is there a lack of? Is it a cohesive strategy problem, or is it a morale issue? Are they just getting compounding head noise? I don't know.
Would if you were to hear hypothetically that the players had turned on Voss and this is their kind of way of knifing him, would you accept that?
I don't know. Well, mate, I don't know. But I mean, was it actually? Yeah, the Adelaide game. Port Adelaide game, there was so much biff. It was every 5 minutes something was breaking out. You could tell the tension on the field must be
because the main narrative from the North Melbourne game was that they were a bunch of pussies and weren't standing up for each other. The thing is, they weren't
true. That was probably it. Yeah,
but they weren't really showing that physical pressure during play. It was always off the ball or at stoppage. The only time that actually complimented them was when Curnow WWE in both hands pulled 2 full backs off, and it led to a sneaky goal. But
that was actually a pretty good goal too. I don't know. That's a big question. Is it Voss? Is it an underlying strategic problem, or like you say, the players just jack of it and throw it? I don't know. I think these guys are pros, right? I don't think they'd pull something like that where they'd take out their frustrations with performance on the field. I don't know if they would, but maybe I just like to think too highly of people.
Yeah.
Or
no,
there's a
that's fair
simpler
enough.
option to all that. Your list is just rubbish, and you've got a rubbish coach, and it's not clicking. I mean, I don't know why Carlton fans are so much in denial about it. I mean, yeah, you had your hopes
Whoa,
up, but
whoa, whoa! I know you've been on holiday, Andreas, but we are not.
like
That,
it's
we are the
just
furthest
fuck,
from
get
being
the
in denial.
violins out. Jesus
No one's in yet.
Christ, man.
Carlton fans are not in denial. Like it's Carlton fans who are the ones who are like spitting the dummy the most.
Oh, they were in
Yeah.
denial for at least until the first 4 rounds of the season.
First couple of games. I think there was still a lot of denial in the North Melbourne game, but I think after Port Adelaide performance, I don't think there's any denial left. I think
Okay.
We're what's the stages of grief? Like I think we're
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think
Except we just get stuck on the anger side.
yeah, there's a lot of anger. There is a lot of anger.
Actually, I might have a mission for you, John. Is it the TPC, the Tasmanian Planning Committee?
Yep.
Do you attend those meetings or you just watch them?
I've been watching them, but I am considering going down because I'm struggling to get media down here because everyone hates me. Because
I have a mission for you, not as the independent candidate for Clark, but as a committed Blue supporter. I came across a little nugget today. The KC, or barrister for the Tasmanian, that's representing the Tasmanian government, is a fellow by the name of Christopher Townsend. And when I was reading some of the reports during the week, I saw that name and I was like, why is that name so familiar? Christopher Townsend is on the board of directors for Carlton.
No, really?
He was one of the ones that was brought onto the board in mid-April under dubious and controversial circumstances.
Hold on, I'm just looking him up now.
Yeah,
Chris enjoys traveling, watching that. He's a long-term Carlton man, yeah.
Yeah. Because the skinny behind that was that when Luke Sayers got booted, a board member had approached Mike Fitzpatrick, who was keen to take over the presidency. And when the rest of the board said, no, we want to go internally and went with Rob Priestley, they gave that board member the arse and brought in 2 board members under a clause in our constitution. One of them, Chris Townsend. Yeah. And now he's representing, I know it's technically the state government, but it's really on the behalf of the AFL and also a competing team. I just thought that was interesting. So maybe pick his brain if you ever come across him.
Interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, that might be good for a yarn too. I reckon that could set the cat amongst the pigeons. Yeah,
I mean, I was proud of myself for that little one. That's just like
good.
A little...
I mean, mate, I'm meant to be the dirt unit guy. You really did well there. Look at you guys. Right. You know, you're running a political operation, a current affairs show.
We got a lot of talents here at the Jumper Punch, mate.
Maybe one day you can whip Carlton into shape at this rate.
Hey,
no thanks.
That's one task too hard.
John, it's been an absolute pleasure. We love you. The chat loves you.
Not everyone.
But that's what it's like. We enjoy a diverse range of opinions here. Rat Poison. Yeah. We love him. We don't know who he loves, but we love Rat Poison. Now, please, everyone.
It's sledging me on Twitter.
Yeah, it's John.
Thanks heaps, guys.
John McGowan on Twitter and on Facebook. John, thank you very much. I'll keep in touch with you. I've got a list of some sick puppies for you to appear on their shows if you're keen. So
I will, mate. I'm down for anything, right? Thank you, guys. Thanks,
beautiful,
chat.
mate. Love you. Have a good one.
Thanks, Get the Devils.
Rumna.
Up the Devils. Rummin.
Are we still onto the Carlton Port Adelaide game, or is it?
Bro, I was in a fugue state for like the last 70 minutes, to be honest with you. But Port and Carlton, fellas. What did you fellas reckon?
Are we still onto the show, or are we going to?
Of course, no, Mark, please. We're still on. Do you have a question? Did you watch the game to begin with?
I actually did watch the game.
Sweet. All right, ask us a question because we want to move on to Andreas' game.
But obviously, I was waiting for Rocco to jump on. Is Rocco jumping on at all, or?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think he might be in a padded cell after what you put him through.
Organising a few things for the week. Just watching the show, watching the game, it actually looked like a bit of a show, to be quite honest. It did look like because it was a bit of a laughing stock. One thing that I just cannot understand with these players these days is that when they jump onto the ground and they go towards their positions, and they're sitting there and they're like laughing. Look, I saw Curnow and the forward line walking towards their positions before the bounce, and they were fucking laughing. And I was watching the game, and I'm like, these guys were fucking. Is this
that's true. That's very true, Mark.
No, hang on. Stop it. Mark, you comment. No, but Mark, you comment on clubs when someone gives the bird or there's a rough conduct thing or a thing, and now you're commenting if there's a player that smiles. Come on. Like, where's the in between?
What I'm trying to say is that I was watching the game, and before the game even started to bounce, I'm noticing, and might not be always Carlton, might be other teams as well, but they were walking towards their positions and they're fucking laughing. It was like they were having a joke about something, you know.
Are you sure it wasn't Are you talking about the Port Adelaide players laughing at Carlton or Carlton laughing at themselves?
It was a couple of. They were going towards their forward line, and to be honest, guys, I was kicking back and I looked at it. I thought, is this fucking for real, man?
Hey, I don't disagree with you, Mark. And this has been
I'd be laughing if they were sitting on the top of the fucking ladder. They were playing it's just like they were there for a holiday, to be quite honest. Second of all, I'm going to call it WTF. What the fuck, right? So, what the fuck? Second of all, W2F. What the fuck is you've got Carlton 3/4 time, halfway through the third quarter, down by 68 points, and a small forward takes a mark 30 metres out, and he kicks the goal. And you know what he does? Come on! What the fuck?
I think you might be confusing it with the North Melbourne game, Mark. There wasn't too much of that going.
I was watching the game, and there was a Carlton player 3/4 into the game, halfway through. They were down by 60 points. I think he took a marker. You might have snapped the goal from 30 metres out, Durden or something like that. And he fist punched and goes, come on.
It'd be nice if it was Durden, if Durden was playing in that game, but
whoever he was a small forward.
But to your credit though, Mark, our players were celebrating and laughing after they'd missed goals as well. So
WTF. Another one, W2F. McGovern, 20 metres out in front of goal.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sackable offence.
I don't know if there's match fixing going on at the moment, mate, but to be quite honest, man, you're 20 metres out from goal and you miss. And second of all, W2F, he was in the back line and he kicked the ball out. He didn't even kick it out of bounds. He kicked it out of the fucking stadium. Like it was like a 70-metre kick out of the stadium. What the fuck? Like, what's going on with these players, mate? Is there some kind of fixing going on? Are they tanking? Like,
that's what I was going to ask you, Mark. Do you believe that Carlton could potentially be tanking?
I think, mate, you can't kick the ball out of bounds 70 metres. Mate, come on, man. Did you see that? Did you? I watched it and I thought, you can't kick the ball like into the third tier of the stand, mate, while you're passing the ball. Did you see it?
Yeah. I mean, we all saw it. We couldn't believe it.
Right. So
let me ask Scotty one question then.
Yes, of course, Liam.
What kind of sort of on what Mark was saying, but like when watching that first half at halftime, as a fan, what does that say to you guys about your club and how your players are feeling? Does that give you an impression that they're tanking? Does that give you an impression? We don't care. We're just rocking up because we have to. How does it make you feel watching that as a fan?
The way that I feel, disappointed. I mean, what have we been saying for weeks now? What do you want out of your club? You want to feel proud. You want your players to play with pride that, comes back onto you. It wasn't even up to halftime. It wasn't even at quarter time. It was the first 5 minutes. We just knew these blokes just don't give a fuck.
It can't be tanking, especially when they haven't got.
They're not tanking. That's just taking the pick.
They don't. I don't know who their first pick goes to, but I'm pretty sure they've lost their first pick in the draft. Our first pick's at Hawthorn, bro. Okay, so the first pick goes to Hawthorn, so they're not tanking. I think it's just more or less that Carlton are just rubbish. Again, I don't know why it's so hard to believe. He's tough to kick up. That's it. It's not match fixing.
However, I will not let my club be accused of match fixing, tanking, especially from a bloke that supports a club that brought this game to disrepute by injecting their players with peptides. But we'll leave that for another day.
These days, mate, you can bet on
Mark, you've had to say
Mark, on how many times he drinks his water bottle, mate. That's how much. That's the way betting is going at the moment. How many times he scratches his ass? I'll bet you Kerno will scratch his ass 5 times at $5 for one, and that's what it's coming to at the moment, mate.
Mark, that is ridiculous. You know what, Mark? I'm over it. Let's move on to the next game because I'm actually interested to hear about this because I value this man's opinion. He doesn't talk rubbish. He speaks only facts. Andreas, please.
Yeah, look.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. Okay, so in a nutshell, I think what Pendle said in the post-match interview on Fox Footy was 100% correct, and you could see it from a Collingwood's fan's point of view. We were just too cute in those first 3 quarters. I think we just thought potentially that it was just going to happen, and we didn't make it happen. I'm not taking anything away from West Coast. Let's be real, yeah. West Coast came to play. They had many players out. The youngsters took it right up to us. We eventually showed our experience and age, as some people want to call it, whatever. But we put them to the sword. But at the end of the day, I think that our West Coast had some really good transitioning from the middle. From their defense to their forward line, and they caught us off guard. They got a few goals over the top. Our defense was pushing too high. We were just all over the place in the first 3 quarters, and I think we sort of maybe potentially looked for the hand pass to Nick Dacos and Scott Pendlebury a little bit too much. We overused the handball chain going forward, and then we just settled, and then we did what we had to do towards the back end of the 3rd quarter and in the last. So I think you'll see this week against Carlton, you'll see a very, very different team performance, because I feel like it's hard to explain, but even though we had like an off game to our standard, but we still got the 4 points, we had some individuals that had a good game, but as a team they just didn't link up. I mean, Dacos got almost 40 touches, his brother did, Josh did good as well, Chris got like 27 touches. So you've got all these players who are playing good. I thought Houston actually had a good game. He only got 17 or 19 possessions, but he was very effective in what he did. But as a team, we just didn't link up properly. It was just one of those off games. But I don't know. The last couple of weeks, I could see it coming a little bit. We're just, we should have put Melbourne away and we didn't. St Kilda, we took care of them in the second half. But yeah, I don't know. So I think you're going to see a very different Collingwood come out against Carlton this week.
Yeah. Now, Andreas, just a quick one. I mean, it's great that you can name off all these great stats like 40 disposals and that, but just in the breath before, you were talking about how when the team stopped stat padding, that's when they actually got serious. So how can you say Nick Dacos 40 touches and how that can really show how effective they were at controlling
it was about 34, 35 or whatever, but I don't know what you're trying to get at with that, but at the end of the day,
they weren't linking up.
Yeah, they just weren't. They just weren't linking up. So you say how many times did Ed Allen get caught like holding the ball or get caught tackled on the commentary side wing, right? Because we just kept on overusing the handball. Just get the ball and run. It was like they were trying to make the fancy play, or trying to make the good passage of play too many times. There were no highlights from the game. Let's be real. There was no highlights like there was against St Kilda or even sometimes against Melbourne. So, but at the same time, we might be going through a little bit of a form slump the last couple of weeks, but we're still getting the points, which is the main thing.
Well, do you feel, Andreas, is that, when you say that you're playing off or not really to your style, is that an attempt at like management or in-game management or just underestimating the competition?
I don't think it's just a process-driven thing. I think it's more or less the players are just playing to what their roles are and stuff, and they're trying to do it. But at the same time, I think Pendle's hit it on the head pretty clearly. They were probably just being a bit fancy, being a bit cute, and they shouldn't have been. And they were overusing the ball. Like, oh, let's do this. It looks good. Let's do this. Where's Pendle's? Where's Nick? You don't need to do that stuff. Just do the process that you've been doing all season And I think the biggest disappointing thing for me out of this game, regardless of the fact that we won, is that I think I wanted to see us sort of bury a side, similar to what we did against Port Adelaide in round one. We haven't really done that since. So we've beaten sides by a fair bit, which is great, but we had an opportunity there. But at the same time, credit to West Coast. I'm not going to sit here and say that they played shit or anything like that. They didn't. They played better than us.
They were impressive.
They played better than us for 3/4 of footy, and you can't. No Collingwood supporter will argue that. But then we did what we needed to do at the end of the third quarter and in the last quarter. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. I think it was just
how good Collingwood are at the end of the day, because you're going to have every team now hunting you guys, and you could just see that you're probably going into second or third gear, and then when it needed to be won, you won. Everyone expected you guys to probably win by what? 60, 70, 80 points.
I tipped us by 58. I thought we were going to win by close
at least
to 10
goals. At least 10 goals. But it was a good effort to see Collingwood just hold back a bit and not have any injuries, and that's the key as well. So the 4 points, like you were saying, Andreas, is what matters at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Move on and get onto some rivalry games like Collingwood and Collingwood, Carlton, and all those other teams are coming through. So. No, it was a good effort. I was proud of Collingwood with their win. I was quite proud with their.
I was probably more proud. I was probably more proud with West Coast's 3/4. I think that the youngsters and that Marriage or whatever it is for West Coast, the guy that was playing off the halfback or the wing for West Coast, he's a gun. He's going to be a good player moving forward for them. So.
Yeah, West Coast have a couple of those kind of players that need name tags at the moment, but give them a few more years and they'll carry that team.
Can I ask Andreas, are you worried about this form slump heading into some tougher games? Because I just had a quick look at your fixture. You got a few tough ones coming. You got Brisbane again. Hawthorn's a home game. Adelaide's away in Adelaide.
So the Adelaide
not playing your best coming into those games against.
No. That's still 6 weeks away. That the Brisbane game, the Adelaide game, and to an extent the Fremantle game, I'm not too worried about now. Plus we've got Fremantle at home, so we should take care of them there. But the ones that I'm worried about is I'm worried about the Gold Coast game away, which is in 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that we deal with Carlton nicely. That we deal with Carlton on Friday night, and then we go up to the Gold Coast, and I think that's going to be the big one, because I've just got this feeling that regardless of what happens this week between Gold Coast and Essendon, the Gold Coast and Essendon game that's been rescheduled from opening round, they're going to play that week of the bye before the finals. Now, that game could shape the entire top 8. If Essendon somehow manage to win a few more games and they're still able to qualify for the finals, which I don't think is going to happen, but it's still a possibility, Gold Coast might have to win to either save themselves a spot in the 8, or they might win to get themselves a spot in the top 4. So every game that Gold Coast play leading up to the end of the season now is massive, and to host us at their ground, I think that's the one game I'm worried about. The Gold Coast game,
that's a fantastic record at home as well.
Yeah. Well, they beat us last year there, so yeah.
So you're pretty confident going into Friday night, Andreas?
Yeah, I got no worries about Friday night. It's probably one of the first times you always get a little bit shaky about the Collingwood Carlton stuff. It's like Anzac Day with Essendon, no matter where the blah blah blah. But
thing is, Andreas, I might have somebody waiting in the wings that wants to test that confidence. Bring him in.
Bring him in. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we couldn't keep him away. It's the man himself.
Here he goes. Fucking, you better come back, Marco. Or we're going to have a couple of peptides in the back there. First of all, let me just say, mate.
How you going, Rocco?
How we going, guys? How we going? Yeah, you just smile. I'll get to you in a sec, mate. Don't you worry. Let's get stuck. First of all, what a start to the show. Scotty, you've been fantastic, man. I love that interview with the politician there. I don't know his name.
John.
But John was such a star, man. At the end of the day, what I got out of that, no stadium, no Tassie team.
That's not happening. That's why I asked him for the yes or no. That's why I asked him for like a get
we all catch the ferry down to Tasmania and we pump as many illicit ballots into John McGowan's box as possible and get this stadium built.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
mate.
no, I'm telling you, he's JP's very own now, very own. Yeah, so
Mate,
he's been good. Yeah, so that's it. Yes, that was really good. I really enjoyed that. That was good. Yeah, I want to get into before and make sure. I heard that Andreas when we said, "Are you going to come down to support the TJP?" Even though we support your channel and everything, you scoffed at it. You know what? You won't be invited now, so you can go and get
that wasn't because of the fucking that's because of Northland, mate. I don't want to fucking go to Northland. Fuck
We've
that
got
shit.
a Northlands. We're talking
the
about the
Brunswick.
end of the year. We're talking about the end of year live.
Oh,
Mate.
okay. That's different. Sorry, that's my
Brunswick,
I
didn't
stand
You're
corrected.
come? You're
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
come?
come. Yeah, I'll
All
come.
right.
Oh, listen, mate, don't worry.
Don't you dare scoff at our live show at the end of the season, which is at get your tickets. Get your tickets. Links down in the description. Make sure you get your tickets, man. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be it always is. As I said, we'll be on the same stage as the Black Eyed Peas, mate. What else? Look, TJP, Black Eyed Peas together on the same stage, not on the same night, but you know they've both been on there. Yeah, so we'll get into this. I'm interested to talk about this Carlton Collingwood before you have to go. But before we go, Marco, as I said, I'll take it from Andreas. I will not take shit from your peptide taking side, mate. You can't even get free training without getting injuries, bro. You can't even get free training, and you want to talk about outside. Hit the road, bro. Hit the road. What did you do? Did you just watch our game to get those couple of highlights? How about you concentrate more on your fucking side? How about that?
Well, I have been concentrating.
Hit the road, mate.
And we're talking about the injuries.
About stats. Are you serious? Who are you going to put out this week? You can't even get through the bye, please, bro, man. No more.
I know, Rocco. I know.
Yeah.
We're talking about the injuries or what?
Whatever. You can't even admit that you're a bunch of bloody drug addicts from 20 years ago. And you want to tell me about my club, please? I can't do it anymore, mate. I can't.
A bunch of frauds, mate. Let's move on. Yeah, obviously the injuries are really affecting the football.
Oh, yeah. Listen, last year the injuries didn't affect it, but now the only injury is to your head, mate. That's the only injury there is.
You know, at the end of the day, it might be our training ground, mate. Because
the training ground. That's when we get to your game, I'm going to ask you. I've actually got an intelligent question instead of how does he kick it on the full? How does he squirt water? Is that what you came up with? Is that what this show's turned into? Why does he squirt water?
That's what I've been watching, mate. That's what I've been watching, a comedy show, mate. That's what I've been watching, Rocco, mate. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, let's get the two sides that are relevant.
Laughing before the game.
Let's get the two sides that are relevant, mate.
Serious club that is, mate.
All right, you guys done? Can we do this game now? Thanks. Cheers.
Please. Go ahead, Rocco.
Andre, excuse me, mate. TJP was born and brought by me, mate. I'll get on and say whatever I want. Let's get on to this game, bro.
Let's go. Come
on. Who's in and out for you, first of all?
Well, I think the sides get sorted out tomorrow, 100%. But
you've got inklings on who you think's in and out.
We've got Maynard will obviously come back in. There's some talk that Tom Mitchell will probably potentially come back in. You've got a debutant that we picked up in the mid-season draft, Noah Steele, who is like a tall sort of half forward. He'll come through and play his first game. That's sort of we've got side bottom. So Bobby Hill will probably come back in as well, which will be good. And then we've got side bottom is out with illness, and they haven't decided who the other outs are yet. But I think it'll probably be Markov will probably come out, and potentially maybe like a Lockie Sullivan or something. Charlie West is out too. He fucked his foot at Marvel, so that'll be that's a bit of a shit one for a guy who plays first game, and I think it's more of a bit of a shit one for our twos because he's bagging 5 and 6s every week. So that's a bit of a bummer there. But yeah, the sides will be decided tomorrow. But I think we'll have probably about 4 changes all up.
I think we're about the same. We're going to have about 4 changes. I think Silvani's out.
Yeah, gonna have to be.
Cowan will come in. He'll bring a bit of CUNT into the team. So yeah, Silvani definitely out. Who else? I think Billy Wilson. Sard will be out too. So
Billy Wilson trained, but couldn't really get any specifics as to whether it was full contact or whether he was showing he was carrying anything. But at the moment, you just assume that he's in.
Yep, we've got probably a couple of young kids going to come in. All words, I reckon. Moya's going to come in. He's been playing well in the reserves. He kicked 4, I think, so he might come in. So Cowan. So got a few more, probably a few out. It's going to be tough to get out there, but I think it's a bad week Carlton has been hit from pillar to post this week.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to come out. They're going to come out pretty strong. So I wouldn't be taking them too lightly. I know you said we went straight on 2 weeks from now, so I wouldn't be taking them on. I don't think.
No,
I think your coach and professional enough that they won't be doing that. But I think out of all the last couple of years, I think Carlton have taken this Collingwood game more serious than any time in the last couple of years, to tell you the truth.
No, 100%. But that, and I think a lot of Collingwood supporters would agree, without sounding too cocky and too arrogant, we know that Carlton are going to come out this game, especially after last week's performance, short turnaround, blah, blah, blah. We know you guys are going to come out, and the first half of football, it's going to be red hot. I mean, it's going to be on for young and old. I think the atmosphere is going to be way better than what it was at the start of the season when we played you. With that being said, though, I still think that we'll win. But you guys are going to come out as if it's your grand final this week. And it's so blindingly obvious. I was hoping that you guys would get the win against Port Adelaide, because then, the narratives throughout the week sort of changes and stuff like that. But the fact that you guys got slapped just shows that you're going to come out against us. And as I said before, no matter where we are on the ladder, the two clubs, it's always hot regardless. I think we should be able to get up. But with that being said, I know the first quarter at least is going to be one-way traffic coming from Carlton. It's pretty obvious it's going to happen.
Yeah, it should. I think that's pretty accurate what you just said. Pretty accurate. We'll come out for it. And it's not just that we got beaten by Port and that. I think all the other off-field stuff that's come out this week, Graham Wright coming over and taking over early, the president doing an interview with our very own Terry, does an interview, he comes out, and then you talk, a few players have come out this week and their narrative is completely different to what I've heard before. So don't get me wrong, and you've heard all my rants and that about Carlton, so you know what I think, where they're at and what should happen to them, but their narrative is a bit different this week. So I think it's going to be a bit of a different game. Yeah, I think we've got a chance this week, to tell you the truth, out of all weeks, even with the players out. I think that might be actually something that might help us. So, like Sard, Silvani's a loss, but I reckon Sard, not so much. He hasn't had a great year, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's a ball magnet against Collingwood. He always, whenever he plays Collingwood, he might not kick it. He might just bomb it forward, but he always gets the ball against us outside the pack and just runs with it every time.
It's not damaging. It's not damaging enough. So I'm not too stressed about that. But,
I think what's most interesting about our team selection outside of the forced changes is obviously, possibly swinging the axe on some underperforming senior players, but we haven't really.
I don't think they will, especially with Silvani and Sard out. They're not going to want to swing the axe on too many others, I'll tell you right now.
I mean, I know we say Akers every week, but there's certain positions where I think he could get away with it.
I would. I definitely would bring in a Camperelli, chuck him in straight away. Yeah. And I'll bring in a Moya straight away.
If Wilson stays in the side to replace Sard full time, then to replace kind of Billy's spot, do you bring in another forward, another backman? Because we've already got.
I think O'Keefe might be a chance of coming back.
I wouldn't bring in Moya. I wouldn't bring in Moya if I was you guys. I mean, you brought him in for against us at the start of the. And those
circumstances everything was against Moya. Yeah, that'll never happen again. What Moya's been in the form of his VFL career for the last at least 4 to 6 weeks. His game
but he had 3 weeks before in the VFL before he came and he played against us last time. He had 3 really good solid weeks, which is the reason why
he didn't have 3. He didn't have 3 really good weeks before that. He was okay, but he really is all words. Everything that's coming out of it, he's doing everything he's been told.
Yeah,
it's different from just kicking his goal. So I reckon
he's also in a different position. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to have selection integrity. You know, like in the last 4 weeks, he's been killing it. And mate, if there's a spot
but that's the same narrative that you had last time. Like, I don't mind him. I think he's a good player, but I think our defense is going to chew him up.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, it happened last time. I think he only got 2 kicks against him
last time, but a lot of things happened last time. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen this year. This week. All I'm saying is it doesn't matter what happened last time. I mean, that's a ridiculous thing to say what happened last time.
No, but the confidence, Rocco, the confidence. You're bringing in a kid that's played against him already, and we slapped him around.
What better way to bring him in front of 70,000 people?
I think it's a gamble. I just think that's a bit of a gamble for that one.
In the last game, Moya came on. He was at the sub. He came in the first quarter due to injury, and then his third senior game, he had to play on side bottom and Jordan DeGoey.
Yeah. No, I look, mate. You can say he's had some good form, and you got to reward him, man. If there's a spot for him to come in, why not? You know what I mean? So you might say that, hey, hope for your sake that you do destroy him. Let's hope. If he doesn't destroy him, you're coming on next week. And
I'll be on next week regardless. I'll front up regardless.
Regardless. But all I'm saying is you got to reward like some good form in the reserves. I think he's the one to come in. Is he going to play? We don't know, mate. We don't know how good he's going to go. And
fuck all you fucking Collingwood dogs. We're shit, but fuck yous all. Fuck yous all, mate. Fuck yous all. Arrogant fucking pricks. I hope we come out. Maybe not you, but I hope we come out.
How's your form? You pop in here. You're dominating the chat. You pop in here. Fuck all you Collingwood dogs. Blah blah. Oh, not you. Come on, mate. You're going to come out. You're going to come out with a rocket up your ass. You're going to come out with a rocket. I know, but you're going to come out with a rocket up your ass. It's going to be lit.
Wait. Can I stop you for a second? We might. Okay. You have to add the might.
You will. It's against Collingwood. If you don't, I'm telling you this now, if you don't come out at least for the first half against us and absolutely dominate, Voss won't be. He'll get a DCM, a don't come Monday, and he won't be there on Monday. It's that simple.
The press conference after it, they'll be making him do it without the sponsorships in the back. That's how bad it'll be. If we get pumped, there'll be a black screen behind him.
Now, listen to me. The worst thing you can do if we get beaten by Collingwood is sack Voss. You don't do that.
I know, but I want it to happen. So that's what I'm saying.
It won't happen. It won't happen. It just won't happen.
I've seen plenty of Collingwood supporters say that they don't want Voss to get sacked. They want him to stay.
Yeah, because that's like when we were saying about Buckley. How many times did we say that about Buckley? Buckley was there, and everyone keeps saying like, "Oh no, keep him for another 10 years."
I never thought Buckley was a bad coach, though.
Mate, they're just reusing the shit that we used to say to them, man. Like, seriously, man. It's all good. But this week, I'm telling you, it's going to be tough. But I'm telling you, all the pressure's on you, mate. All the pressure's on Collingwood this week.
I think it's such reverse. The pressure's not going to take.
That's why? 10 points. If we lose, we're expected to lose, bro.
Because we haven't had the week. We haven't had the week that you guys have. The pressure's on Voss.
No, but we're expected to lose, bro. We're expected to lose heavily.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the pressure's on us. You wouldn't want to lose that and get an injury, man. And you've got some tough games coming up. I mean, yeah, you're playing well and you're on top and you're premiership favourites and all that. But I've noticed now the arrogance just lift up just a notch. And
the lid's still on.
No,
but maybe the arrogance coming up a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
The lid isn't.
You can't say the lid's on, bro. You can't say the lid's on. You can't.
I've never. Hang on.
I'm loving it, and I'm telling you now. This week I'll be there, and use a favourite, and you should win by 60 points. But I'll warn you, right? Be careful. Because if you don't, we're going to fucking embarrass you. We're going to embarrass you.
Rocco's covering himself for 60 points.
I'm not covering nothing, mate. I'm not covering nothing. I've just said that Collingwood should win by... Shut up. I said Collingwood should win by 10 plus. I said this last night.
Genuinely.
I said this last night.
Yes.
Anyway,
Liam.
Wait up. I'm asking you a question. Do you genuinely think it's going to be a Vaseline job?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be like 25, 30 points.
What about you two guys? What about you, Liam and Mark? What do you guys think?
I just said that, mate. Like Rocco's just using.
All right. Relax. Hey, Mark. Respectfully, you're the first team to lose the bye. That's hard to do.
That's all right. It's just an excuse to say, well, if we're happy to go down by 10 goals. Like, look, that's ridiculous.
I never said that, Mark. Do not put words in my mouth, bro. I never said that. I hate how you do that. I never said that. Liam. What I said was, this is why I had a break today. I never said that because you're a liar. Just like you think a bunch of cheats, you're a liar. I said, right, I expect to lose by 10 goals. They're a much better side. I never said I'll be happy with it. Right? What I said was to lose by 10 goals. They're a better side on the ladder by they're 10 points above. Their percentage is way above. They hardly got any injuries, mate. They're playing some beautiful football. All I said was the pressure's on them.
And Andreas, another one for you.
If you go down by 5 goals, you'll be happy.
And it's the biggest
Liam.
Yeah, let me give my tip now.
Hold on a minute.
Yep.
Hold on a minute.
Fellas,
Liam.
one at a time, please.
Thank
Let me do my tip.
you, Mr. Host. Thank you, Mr. Host. Liam, what do you think? Is there going to be any bets going between maybe Rocco or, I don't know, there's too many Carlton supporters on the show at the moment, and Manny or Andreas? What's the bet going to be about Collingwood and Carl? Come on, boys.
There's no betting, mate. I'll give you my pick. I reckon it's Collingwood by 2 goals. From what I've seen from Collingwood in the past couple of weeks, their form isn't the best, and Carlton have to come out and perform.
So what's the challenge?
I thought they were going to come out and perform against Port Adelaide last week.
What do you think? Rocco should be coming around in mosquitoes, or maybe we should get Scotty to shave his head.
Mate, the last time we did a bet, you didn't even follow through with it, so we're not doing anything.
Liam,
mate, do you remember?
I followed through with it. What about that?
You can tell him.
Boys, I have to head off. I have to head off now, but I'm giving you guys one final tip. It'll be Collingwood by, I'm going to say 26 points at the G, and I'm going to say
kick 5.
No, I reckon Jeremy Howe's going to get best on ground. I think he's going to dominate the back.
That's a good win.
Nice call.
Great win.
Well, for your sake, I hope your team wins.
No worries. Also, if Carlton win, I'll buy a Tassie membership in lieu of the show. Alrighty, there you go. There's the bet.
The $5 membership. Wow.
I'll get a sticker. I'll get a sticker and put it in the back.
If we win, I'm going to hammer you next week when you come on.
I love that.
I love it. I love it too.
All right, I gotta go. See you, boys. Have a good one.
Make sure you get on.
Thank you so much.
Make sure you get on to Andreas Black and White United and subscribe and get all that done.
Thanks, boys. Cheers. See ya.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, bro.
Hey,
get me Big Saka on. Get me Big Saka on. Get me another Collingwood Greek on. Get me another.
Wait, Matt, can I ask you, Carlton boys? Then,
of course.
What is an acceptable performance from you guys this week? Because if you go out and do it in
nothing but a win, nothing but a win.
Nothing but so it has
nothing
to be
but
a win.
I'm not deluded like Essendon supporters. Nothing but a win. And even if we lose by a fucking point, it's not acceptable. A win is the baseline.
That's fair.
It's Collingwood.
Collingwood as an outsider, Collingwood have a knack of just winning games, which gives us older shits, I imagine.
Yeah.
But
and he's right.
That's why I reckon, if you get within 2 goals and you play a really good 4-quarter performance, you get hit by maybe the best team in the league.
Look, I'll put it this way, and I
have to win.
Put it this way, I definitely want I definitely want to see a 4-quarter performance by the Blues, man. You want to walk out proud. So let's be serious. You do want to do that. Collingwood are a better side, right? So most likely going to win. So you want a 4-quarter because we haven't really seen a 4-quarter performance made all year. So maybe one, So that's what you want. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be happy with anything but a win.
Fair.
That's it. It has to be a win.
It has to be a win. I don't accept anything less than that. I don't care how shit we are. I never care if we're bottom of the ladder. It has to be a win. It's Collingwood.
Exactly. And that's the way they should be. That's the way the team, the club, and the supporters should feel this week.
What about you, host? Mr. Host, what about you?
I cannot disagree.
Good.
It has to be a 4-quarter effort no matter what. Like, regardless of the context of our season, these are the types of games you have to take seriously no matter what. And it doesn't matter if these players don't care about their coach or who they're playing with. I don't care. You have to put in 100%. And then if you're not doing that, put in 110.
100%.
Yep.
100%. Let's just play. Go on, Scotty.
We've got a couple of characters here waiting, if you don't mind pulling them up. Now, this one's a personal favorite, and he was the first one in. Do you mind if I bring him up?
Of course. Bring it in.
Go.
Rat Poison. Welcome to Fourever Rivals. Sorely missed, mate. How have you been?
Oh, great to be here. Thanks, Scotty, for the welcome. And I've got a few tonight. I've got a real few rippers, I'll tell you.
Well, let's hear him. Let's hear him, Rat. What did you think of our political guest?
Well, Scotty, I kind of let him know in the chat that I'm not a fan of liberalism, fascism, and they're just bilking the taxpayer. It's just a robbery. The whole thing it's the same right across the world, not just Tassie or Australia.
It reminds me a lot of when your team Geelong kept walking and taking hand over fist from the Victorian government.
Completely. Couldn't agree more.
That's what I meant. Now, what else do you have for us, right?
Well, look, what's been happening is that I went on to Terry's a lovely guy. I saw Rocco's interview with Terry the other day, and I thought, not the whole thing, but a little bit. I thought it was very interesting. But I've been on Terry's chat, and not just Terry's chat, this little bit, not to the same degree, but until the Port loss, people were saying that Carlton could make the finals. So what I'd like to do is explain, because people say, we got 6 wins and we're not that far from, the finals. So what I'd like to do now is explain the rat ladder. What that means is that...
Rat. Just let me ask you something. Who was saying this? You're saying people. Who are the people that was saying this? And if you're just talking about like the average supporter out there, you're always going to get that. As long as it's mathematical, they can make it. You're always going to get that. But who are these people saying it? Because I'm telling you now, anyone on our channel hasn't been saying it.
Rocco, I couldn't agree more with your last statement about people on this channel. There's a little bit of it, not so much. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to name names. There are people out there, though, Rocco, that, as you said, mathematical chance and all that kind of thing. And, I mean, honestly, here's the rat ladder, Rock, and let me explain it.
The rat ladder.
Now, what this entails is we take out the wins from the under-18 teams like Eagles and North. And so that would put Carlton on 3. And that would put Carlton roughly, I'm just going to state right now, people are going to be a bit confused. I don't talk about Richmond at all. Richmond doesn't exist to me because I spent a week in Richmond that lasted 3 years. I used to go with Gabriella Kane. Enough said. I don't say good or bad against Richmond. It's going to seem like an anomaly. But that I just don't talk about it. So we're going to talk about Swans. Swans haven't played North or Eagles yet, so they're still on 6.
No, but Rat, quickly, as I thought part of the Rat ladder was that those teams don't count, so it's irrelevant if they've played them or not.
Scotty, you seem confused more than anyone. Let me explain. Let me continue. Essendon has one win against those dud sides. They're going down to 5. Melbourne has 1 or 2 or something like that. They go to 4. St Kilda the same. The important point, though, is that Carlton is down with North and just above West Coast, and Carlton got thrashed by North the other week, so that puts Carlton second bottom on the red ladder. And this, I hope, will explain and help people to understand how things really are. People are saying Carlton might make the finals, all this sort of stuff. This is reality. And what I'm going to do is, through this channel, if it's okay with Rocco, I'm going to set up a telethon for Carlton people that need to understand things. And you can send the money to Rocco. I'm sure he'll send it straight to me.
It's like a Good Friday appeal.
Exactly. It's a telethon for delusional Carlton people that need a reality check, and they can contact me and they can send the money to Rock. I'll go in halves. Now,
Rat, thank you very much for that. The advice is well appreciated. How about next week? You open up Paint, you make us a Rat ladder every week, and we'll put it up and we'll update it after every round for you. Now, I'd hate to cut you off, but this is an emergency situation. There's somebody in the lobby that we have to bring in. Thank you so much for your time, Rat. I'm not censoring you. You know I love you, and I really want you to call back next week.
It sounds familiar.
Okay.
All right, thanks, bro. Lots of love.
And you'll see why. You'll see why this person.
See why in a second.
Come on.
No.
Now, there he is.
We got football.
He really is on the roof, man.
How are you, football? Oh, he's got his mic off.
His mic's muted.
Bro, this bloke lives in a fucking palace, bro.
Did you see it? He's walking around. Look at this. Hey, this is straight from, where is it? Where does he live?
Lecce.
Lecce. Look at this. Hey, there's his olive trees.
Bro, he's got a fucking palace.
Oh.
Holy shit.
He's just like,
he's got better internet than Mark, and he's in a farm.
Look at this.
Wow. Oh, he's walking on his roof.
He's walking on his roof, mate.
Hey, come at the camera.
Man,
hey, look at that. He's got the olive tree, man. He's got like an olive farm there, man. He's like
Right, he's got like a Pablo Escobar mansion.
Yes, dude.
Mate. Oh, man.
Bro, look at his pool. It's crystal clear.
It's crystal clear. He reckons his internet's no good, but look at that.
Oh,
yeah. So is that summertime over there at the moment?
Yeah, it's hot as shit in Italy. Like in southern Italy, it's hot as shit there. It's like 40.
Yeah, but like what's that hot? Like high 30s?
Nah, like 40s. Like they're in a like a crazy heat season right now.
You know, it's just like one of those.
He might fall off the roof here.
Right, this is OHS right here.
There's football legs.
That's football's legs.
I
You need unmute. Look at his car.
What's he got?
Unmute. Furbo. Unmute.
Furbo.
Can you put it in? Maybe put it in the chat.
You got a problem, Seba?
That is unreal. He's showing us, mate. This is the best because if everyone knows, we just found him on the 24-hour live stream.
He found you.
He found us. He accidentally got on, and now we are like friends from another country, man. It's the best.
I'll be coming to see you, football, when I come to Italy, mate. I'll be coming to see you, mate. Marco will be there.
Yeah, 100%, man. I guarantee he would be so hospitable
Yes.
down there,
I
man.
think so.
Great hospitality.
That was amazing. Now,
Can we see what it looks like?
What's that? That's like a bloody greenhouse.
I'll bring him back up. Just in, if he cuts out again, I might just bring someone else up. But
Yeah, I think we got someone on there that's a Carlton supporter that we should bring up that's been waiting a while.
See you, football.
Furbo, thank you so much.
It's football.
Grazie.
Not football.
Grazie, I love it. Grazie. Mate, this is what.
Molto bene, Furbo.
Motto bene, you reckon?
What's the band?
TJ
Now,
around the
I reckon
world.
we've had a couple of the faithful call in, but I think we need to break it up.
I'm happy to
Go
shoot off.
check.
I'm happy to shoot off, guys.
Seb up.
No,
You're a valuable soldier. We love you.
no, you can't
Have a
go
great
now.
show.
Oh,
No, you got Bocheck on. Stay while you got.
I'll
What do you
stay
think
on
this
both.
is? You're gonna run away?
Yeah, fuck
Who's
yeah.
running?
Hey, listen.
I'm scared.
Which dickheads think we're gonna win this week?
Radio silence.
You a chance, but I've tipped Collingwood by 2 goals. I'm staying with it.
No, I mean in general. I don't obviously no one on the panel now. I mean, like how I can't see anything that suggests we're gonna win.
look, Bocek, I haven't seen anyone personally that is delusional enough to think that we'd have any chance this Friday. The only people that's saying that we might have a chance or are worried about us winning are Collingwood supporters.
Yeah, scared, innit?
No, I've seen a few of them. I've seen some in the chat. I saw some yesterday. Here's the thing. I can't wrap my head around the. I mean, I know it's Carlton goggles, and it happens. People put them on, and then they can't take them off, and they get really, really passionate about it. That's fine. But what I can't understand is that there's nothing that suggests we're going to come out firing. There's. I mean. Andreas said it before, where he's like, oh, "You guys are going to come out firing." Blah 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 blah. Other people in the chat saying we are going to come out firing. We've got a lot to prove. Why do we have a lot to prove now? Because it's Collingwood. What suggests from the last few weeks that we're going to come out and fire? To me, if any, the only suggestion there is that we're going to come out and absolutely get reamed.
What suggests from the last few times we've even played these dogs that we even care?
Well, they're rival games, mate.
Any team really at this point.
Well,
It's a one-sided rivalry, Mark. Like the way Collingwood build up this game when it's their home game, it's unbelievable. We haven't even posted anything. Like we're every day spammed with shit on social media from the club. Not a single thing about the Carlton Collingwood rivalry.
Well, they did today, actually. Their first
really?
one for something about the old enemy, and it was just a flick through of their training photos from today. But that's about it.
What? Okay, 4 words under an Instagram post. Like,
Yeah.
Do we have the Collingwood highlights ready for the game, or
Exactly.
they're going to track them up as well? Best of Peter Dacos.
yeah,
Exactly.
light up the G in black and white.
Exactly. The best
Instead of releasing a bunch of doves down, they're going to release a bunch of fucking magpies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When they come out to their song, after that, we're going to run out and we're going to play their song again.
Fucking hell.
All right. That's far-fetched. But in any case, I just cannot see us winning at all. And I'm so fucking sure of a lubing that this is. I've put us down by 80 plus.
Ooh.
Hey, listen,
Put money on it? Did you put money on it?
Fucking have to put money on it.
Do you know what? Like, I think young Liam said back him by 60 last week, and it was pretty close. So I did actually tip you to lose by 60.
How is 80 plus?
It got me to top of the week.
Liam,
How much are they paying?
$11.
It's because they don't bury. It's because they don't kill teams like that.
Yeah,
But it's still not the worst bet.
Oh no, I put it on. It's a beautiful bet.
It's still not the worst bet.
But I'm telling you, I just look. I've been called that many names in the past. Let's say 30 years, right? Pessimist, you're negative, you're this, you're that. I just see myself as a realist, right?
You're positive, you're negative, you're a realist, you're everything above, mate.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, but the way I look at it is the negativity comes from what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And Rocco, you've heard me say this before. I'm sure the rest of you have as well. The negativity comes from the fans that look at everything else other than just the wins. Yeah. And when there's things that are wrong at the club, naturally that's going to be negative, right? So to me, at this point, this is a failed season. Even if we actually, before I let you go, I'll let you get someone else in. If we beat Collingwood, does that mean anything to any of you at this stage?
No. Absolutely not. No.
It's like
bragging rights.
It's the rivalry game.
Not even bragging rights. It's just like we won our grand final for the year, I guess.
You get up their ass for 2 hours, and then I move on. Like I won't even. I'll tell you now, I won't even cheer.
But once Rocco buys the donuts at the end of the game and we're outside the gate, we've already moved on.
Yeah, we buy the donuts every time after the game. I buy donuts for everyone. We eat our donuts, and we
unlike the president's dad, who only bought his kid, he bought him donuts when they won. Rocco buys donuts for his family, win, lose, or draw.
These are the best, mate. Don't know about the donuts, mate.
All right, Mark. All right.
We're on a kick down over here, Mark.
I'm going to say something to you, right? So we look at the game. We look at the game very in depth. You know, we're looking at, like I was saying to Terry yesterday, I was going, we're the only club that knows who our board members are. Like Scotty just found out about one of our board members is working for the bloody Tasmanian, whatever they're doing. So I don't know. But we're the only team that does that. But I'm actually like, I wish I was one of those people who just be happy with the win and walk away, you know, like a big nuffy. I can't even enjoy when we win anymore, let alone when we lose.
Neither can I. Absolutely not. Every goal, and like I say, it's gonna make people in the same mindset seem like absolute pricks, and I don't give a shit, right? Even when we kick a goal, I feel nothing.
I know.
And that's not just this season. That's not even just last season, or I mean, 23. There was some hope there, but even mate, ask Marzi, ask anyone. I said following year we're going to scrape it, and then which is exactly what happened. We relied on other results, and then I said this year we're finishing. I think I had us 12th or 13th. Right?
Oh, you're spot on.
We're no good, mate. We're just fucking no good.
I'm not saying listen to people like us because we know better. No one knows shit. Right. But there are so many signs in front of us that this club is broken from top to bottom that I think whilst it's absolutely shattered so many fans and so on and so forth, I think it is time that the people that are wearing the Carlton goggles and refuse to accept that something's wrong, take them off.
Yeah.
Not going to tell people how to support, but they need to take them off, man. And because that's the first step to accepting mediocrity.
Well, Bo, I know that exact demographic that you're referring to, and I think they did have it ripped off them after the Port game. But unfortunately, that interview that we saw with the president, Priestley, slapped them right back on. They saw that as a truce. Hook, line, and sinker.
Good bloody point. That's a good point.
By Carlton. Smart move by Carlton.
Yeah. And yeah, it is what it is. But you can never tell people how to support their team. But the one thing that I think we've been trying to enforce is standards, and
that's it. And Mars said it 2 weeks ago. You know, demand standards. What did he say? Something about that. Demand. What did he say, Seba?
Demand more, expect more. Well, and
demand more, expect more.
Basically, do the opposite of what Essendon fans do with their own club.
Yeah, demand more, expect more. Basically. Never be happy. But before you go, Bojack, did you watch last night's show by any chance?
He was there. Yeah.
All right. And so, first of all, Fab from the Ian Prendergast, what a star that bloke is.
Yeah, he's good for
I like him. I mean, there was a few things. It's natural. There's a few things I was like, yeah, what are you doing? But
yeah,
in general, as a guy, he's awesome. I've been following him for a few years, so he's really cool.
I kind of, not that I'm changing my mind on the things, but there were a few things he said there that made me think, you know, like it's not all doom and gloom if things are done properly from now on. It's not all, because the way he went through the list and that, and what, you know, potentially we can do in the next few years with picks, maybe changing some coaches, and he came up with some good points. So I liked the way he went about it last night. It wasn't all doom and gloom. He looked at it in a different direction, and he came up with some good points, bro. I mean, we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I mean? Like, there was some good points there.
Yeah, he made a lot of good points. I don't know if it was him or somebody else that said it, or if I heard it maybe on a different podcast or whatever it is. But I think personally, my opinion, people can think otherwise, of course. I think from this, let's say excluding the Collingwood game, from then on should be extra preparation for next season.
Yes.
Start blooding the youngins, right? More of them, right? Start test some things, yeah? Start testing some things. And the flip side is that people are going to say, yeah, but mathematically we can still, we've got to worry about this season and make the finals this season. Realistically speaking, when you look at the fixture, we're fucked, right? So this now should be a extra preparation time for next season.
Yes.
Doing whatever can be done, and behind the scenes, when Graham Wright comes in, he starts getting things ready for next season as well. He already is anyway, right? But to me, this is all test module shit now.
Well, even then, Bocek, Graham Wright takes over on the Friday of the second last round of the year. I mean, they can be preparing to make changes, but there's really no, unless they have a contingency to start some of those changes from now on, there's really not much that can be done to affect the season that we're currently in.
Exactly. So, I mean, and like I say, there are those positive fans on the other side that say, no, that's giving up. That's throwing the towel in and so on and so forth. But for me, the realistic, if they're sitting down and going, what the fuck do we do for the rest of the season? I would hope that their minds are at the situation of, no, we're not going to go out there and throw every game. We're still going to try, but let's try whilst preparing with the players that we're going to go into next season with.
Well,
and that means
it's
tactically changing shit as well and testing new tactics. Do it.
You know what? It's a good question.
One eye for 2020. What are we now? 2025. Yeah. Have one eye for 2026.
It's a good question. It's a good question. Just because, it's not the same situation, but similar situation. I think Richmond sort of had the same situation. I mean, we all knew Hardwick was going. It wasn't really about that stuff, but they had Uze waiting in the ranks. So it's sort of a similar situation as you could see at the end before Uze took over that there was change. You could see that there was going to be changes. You know what I mean? And you could see that they were sort of trying some things. I don't know, Liam, if you saw it, or that's the way I saw it. During the period leading towards the end, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of came out of the blue that he quit right in the middle of the season, the way that he did. But yeah, you could definitely tell, particularly how he started coaching that season. It was kind of like,
I mean, the only difference is
whether he wanted to say it or not, you knew his mind was like, I'm probably going to be taking up a job at Gold Coast.
Yeah. But that's the only. I mean, again, the only difference is fucking what's his name? Hardwick's a triple premiership coach. Voss is a bum.
He's got it done.
You know what's one good point that Fab said last night that made me laugh. You don't sack coaches. We've sacked that many coaches. Mate. We used to always sack coaches, mate. What are you talking about? We sacked Robert Walls a year after he won the premiership, mate. Until you get the right person. And the other thing he said, everyone always talks about Bomber Thompson and bloody Hardwick and all that. That's two coaches in 150 years, man. It's not a normal thing to keep coaches when they're not performing, mate. And, if he's not the right person, I don't care if it's 8 in 20 years. Make it 9 in 20 years. Keep going till we find the right person. And that's not saying, you know me, I don't think he's the right person. But anyway.
For me, I'll say one more thing. And look, I know it's only as an example because it's the best example I can think of. But referencing English Premier League is a little bit touchy with some people. They think it's stupid and whatever, good for you, right? But Leicester City, right?
Bro, don't.
What?
Yeah, Leicester City. We know the story.
It fucking makes sense. Listen, Leicester City were the most trash team you've ever seen in your life. Claudio Ranieri comes in, and he was the right person to take junk, and they won the Premier League.
I thought you were going to say, like, you're not meaning we can win the fucking flag next year.
Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not.
That's what I just want to clarify.
No.
Yeah.
I think
Seb,
I know what
I'm going to teach you a little bit.
I know what you're saying then. I know what you're saying.
I'll teach you a lesson. If you let me finish.
Yeah.
Seb is going to die in a second, I'm telling you. So Seba knows JDG, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah,
all I'm saying is, in the grand scheme of things, we don't need to. Personally, I don't think we need to make drastic changes to the list, right?
No,
because I do believe that there is a person out there, and that's a whole different discussion as to which coach that is. I believe there is a coach out there that can come in and mold this team into a somewhat successful team. I'm not saying that he's going to come in and we win a flag next year or 2027 or whatever, but there will be a coach that understands these players and has a system that fits the players that are there. Because for me, Voss hasn't got that right.
That's right.
I mean, it's fucking evident. Whatever his plan A is doesn't work, and he doesn't have a B, C, or D, right? And his in-game management is trash. We've been over this 50,000 times, right? But I personally believe that we can bring in a coach that can do something with this team, but it just needs to be tweaked a little. Yeah? Well, a lot. Okay.
Yeah,
it doesn't. The suggestions to trade off like 4 or 5 players and this and that, and the excessive talk of getting rid of a shit ton of people. I think that's wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know who personally. I don't know who that coach is. Like I've said many times, I'm very surface when it comes. I don't really analyze games in depth like you guys do, and the technicalities and all the rest of it, and the stats and all that. I see what I see, and that's good enough for me. And for me, if we just go by a track record of what is possible in sport, then I think.
And that's a lot. That's important in sport. It's not about the tactical and the stats. You know, a lot of it is sport. You know what I mean? It's about wanting to win. You know, and getting that right person just to get their mind set up. And you know, a lot of it is about that.
I like to. I mean, look, I'm not trying to draw like, we're going to win premierships, but it's sort of it's very eerie of Richmond. Before, I mean, look, bearing in mind we're going to get rid of Voss. Let's be real here. He's not coaching next year, right? It's very eerie of Richmond, like the uproar that happened before they went on that run. You know what I mean? Like coaches were getting spat on as they went to the fucking players races. For how many times did it happen to Richmond? Let's be real here. Richmond were a fucking basket case. Yeah, they were worse than us. They were worse than us. We were apparently in front of Richmond, were we not?
Yeah, that's right. And one thing we were.
You know what I mean?
It's
very eerie to me. It's very eerie and very like it's just giving me Richmond vibes about it. And again, somebody's saying we're going to go on and win 3 premierships, but it's just giving me that thing because, as Bo said, there's enough there. But you just need a little bit of things. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We're shit at the moment, and you can't say it any other way. We're shit.
It's gonna be tough.
That's it.
Bocek, Seba, you're absolute warriors. We love you. Bocek, we love you working the chat.
Guys. Fuck Collingwood. Fuck is all.
I'll just leave you with one thing. Rocco hates this, but it's all right. There's no way that wine is better than Pepsi.
What?
All right. There's no way that wine is better than Pepsi.
God, that is rubbish, mate. What is wrong with you, mate?
What? Oh, where'd Seba go?
Can I just say before we get to the other two? So there's a couple of others in the chat. We'll get to them because they're the scum. So, hey, can we? I don't want to interrupt the host, but maybe we should get on and get Liam to have a bit of a chat about his game. Were you going to do that?
Oh, you're a mind reader. I just didn't.
I like it.
Mick and Michael, stick fat. we'll pull you up, but please, I've been waiting with bated breath for Liam's analysis. So please, Liam, I will.
Oh no! Yeah, go on, put the score up, boys.
Yeah, Richmond 8-6-54 to Adelaide 18-14, 122. Not exactly unexpected, but Liam, tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, you're right there. It's not unexpected. It was always going to be a tough game. I said it last week. I said Adelaide have a real good chance to come out and get a good win and really establish themselves as a top 4 side, and they did that. So fair play to them. From a Richmond point of view, it was kind of similar to the game last week. I don't think we were terrible. I think 68 points isn't as bad as what it was. I think good things to note. We won the clearances again. So we're starting to improve on that side of our game, which is fantastic. I think clearly the ball movement is definitely the area. You watched Outer Crows move the ball so good. We really struggled with that link-up play sometimes. Like I said, I do have to give a shout-out to the young guy, Jasper Alga, second game. Full game this week as well. He actually did really good.
Sorry, but because you brought up one of the local legends, I have to say he kicked 2 goals in his second game. His debut goal. While the first one was a bit mixed Qatar.
That wasn't a goal, man. He touched the post with it. I reckon they just gave it to him.
Well, I was on the phone with my mum, and like it happened as I was talking to her. I was like, "Oh, he's like just dragged over the line and gotten his toe to it." And like she doesn't watch footy, but it must be that Footscray, that bulldog blood in her, because she was like, "Well, he better go back and kick a proper one." And his second goal, that was one of the best goals that I've seen in a long time. On form, it just
sailed through. Right on the boundary, maybe 50 out. Yeah, but I really did like watching him, and he's going to get an extended chance in the team now, which is fantastic. He was really good at moving up the ground and actually being that sort of link between the forwards and the backs, which is good. So he's definitely sticking around. Another player I want to shout out, Sam Banks, has been absolutely incredible for us. Seriously, like his last 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, he's been tearing it up off the half-back line. He's one that I said at the start of the year, I said, watch out for this guy. He's going to be good, and he's really delivering for us. His ball use is really great. Apart from that, there's not too much to like. I still think in front of goal, we do have some issues. There was obviously some interesting tactics from Adelaide on how they played us, and that obviously now I'm sure you all want to talk about.
Are we talking about how defenders were handling certain key forwards?
I think I might be making reference to that.
All right. Now
people have a good idea who I might be talking about.
I think this is what we've all been waiting for here, fellas. The Tom Lynch thuggery, self-defense, 5 week suspension, Liam. Now tell us, how did the tribunal get it wrong, and how is it not Tom Lynch's fault?
Well, first of all, let me say one thing that I've personally never liked about Tom Lynch is that he is a bit of a hothead, and when things do not go his way, he does tend to do stupid shit like this. And this time he did it, and it looked really bad. I heard a few people say the comparison, like this could have been his Barry Hall moment. If that had been a harder hit, 100%, that could have been one of the worst things.
If you'd actually hit him with an enclosed fist.
Well, so there's part of the argument. We're trying to say, it's because he's hitting with an open thing, and the AFL very cheeky. He said, I can't close my fist, but they've gone and they've grabbed the picture of him the week earlier. Like, well, you're able to do it a week ago, so I don't know why you can't do it now. No, we don't have an argument for that. That's the sort of shit we do not want in our game. That was a really bad look. He just had a temper tantrum. He lost his cool. He turned around, he whacked the bloke in the head. Disgusting. And as a fan, as Tom Lynch is meant to be a leader of our side. He's a senior player in our team, and that's the example that he's setting. He's missing 5 weeks now. He may not even come back at the end of the season. Fantastic for our young guys to get an opportunity. That's the only good thing that maybe comes out of this, but that is really poor. You're meant to be a leader of our team, and that's the sort of stuff that you're doing. Very disappointed. 5 weeks, I guess, is enough. I don't know. I'm keen to hear what you guys said, but I said it's probably around that 4, possibly pushing to 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's very true what you say, Liam. Yeah. Like, obviously, he is a leader for especially this young crop of players, and it doesn't matter, well, your seniority in the team. That I don't think that behavior is acceptable. But he's not just a leader like on the field, like within the team. He takes so much pressure off of these young players just by being there. Now they're going to be thrown into the furnace properly. These like actual gun forwards, which is disappointing because he's removed himself purely of his own fault. And it's not as though he doesn't know how to be a leader. He was apparently he was qualified enough to be captain of Gold Coast with Stephen May. Could you imagine what that club was like when they were
the same sort of bloke? Easy as well.
On the Gold Coast, those two.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but did you see Mick Malthouse's comments on the tribunal's verdict?
Oh yeah,
he missed that. No, I didn't see that, to be honest.
I wish I had the article prepared, but basically he said that it's a load of crap, and
he just tapped him.
Yeah, he said it was just a tap, and their grading matrix was completely irrelevant. They just made up the sentence.
The vigilantes are out, he says.
But Mark, sorry, just to bring you in, they did do what you have always wanted and sent him straight to the tribunal. No appeals, straight to the tribunal.
Correct decision. He got 5 weeks for that.
5 weeks for that, Mark.
And he didn't knock him out.
What do you think, Mark? Yeah, interesting. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't lock him out. He didn't lock,
He only took a fist to the back of his head.
Yeah. It could have been a lot worse.
If he did knock him out, what would have been? What was the consequences from that? 10 weeks?
If he actually knocked him out, then
what I said,
he'd probably have his contract.
Barry Hall one.
Right.
It would have been the rest of the year for sure.
And it was on my notes, Liam, about being a player that's a senior player. That's disappointing to see a player like that take 5 weeks off the game. But and that's what I think Richmond's going to struggle with at the moment. If their senior players don't continuously support the young players, I think the rebuilding stage for Richmond, I think it's going to be a lot longer than what we expect.
Well, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, to follow on from that, Mark, and obviously you can answer to this too, Liam, even though Lynch is, part of that senior group, I've never really considered him a leader. I've never really seen him as the one that kind of,
Yeah, maybe not a leader, but an experienced player.
He's got to be the oldest on the list, right?
Did he have a kick on the weekend at all, Liam? Did he actually kick? Did he have a kick at all?
They end up getting 2 or 3 disposals in the end.
He did. I don't think he touched the ball for the first. That's 2 weeks in a row where he hasn't touched the ball in the first half of football.
Yeah,
as at least to get the Bulldogs to respond this week.
I think Richmond need those players. Your bolters. That's a bad reflection there about him not being able to play because he's got a curfew and some of the maybe other leaders in the club.
Hey, mate, when it comes to Bolter, what happens off the field stays off the field. But when you're on the field.
Yeah, that does affect the club, mate, because at the end of the day, he's playing.
Actually, Tom Lynch got a longer suspension than Noah Bolter did.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly right. So, Richmond look to go down by 10 goals. I think you accept it, but I wouldn't accept that. I would think a bit more effort. The younger boys need to start stepping up a little bit more and need to go forward. But it comes down to the senior players at the moment for Richmond. If they don't perform the next 5 to 6 weeks towards the end of the year, I think Richmond is going to take a little bit longer for their rebuilding because we all say 2 to 3 years to rebuild your club. And
Mark, they've already overachieved from what was expected this
No,
year.
I don't think so, Scotty. I don't think so. I expected Richmond to win probably a few more games than what we expected. Everyone said one win. Like, one
I
win.
was saying no wins.
Well, no.
Honestly, they were saying that this is the worst AFL list in history.
Yeah, well,
and they
young kids.
Mark, what are they on the ladder? How many wins are you on, Liam?
How
many?
Hang on, I just got to charge this up, but we're on 3 wins for the season.
Well, obviously,
which is honestly not too bad, and there's a couple winnable games coming.
Yeah, Mark, you're saying that they should have had a few more wins, so they should have been above you.
No. What Scotty is saying that they shouldn't have won maybe one game. Well, they did beat Richmond round 1.
So they have overachieved.
Overachieved by beating Carlton round 1. Obviously there was
Gold Coast. West Coast is the only one where you'd say, whatever.
That's right. Gold Coast, West Coast. Like give and take every now and then. But
come on, man. Gold Coast mate. They've been playing well. What do you can't be bagging Gold Coast.
Gold Coast are probably struggling to make the 8 this year again. So
they're in 8th spot, bro.
Yeah, well, just
your team this week.
You can't say they're
all right. They're doing all right, but they've just got to be a bit more mindful of that if they haven't got those senior players performing every week and not doing stupid things like what Lynch done and some other off-field performances that have been happening. Richmond, I think the rebuilding stage is going to be a lot longer, I believe, than what we all think. I think it's going to be another 3 to 4 years before Richmond are even anywhere close to, getting close to top 8. So, it's a sad thing because we want these clubs to be up there, the Carltons and the Essendons and Richmonds to be up there in the finals, and the rivalries and that. So, but, I just think Richmond at this stage, I think they're going to struggle for the next probably 2 years. 2 years, struggling to win games.
That's fair enough, Mark. Now, Liam, I have organised a little surprise for you because it's not too often that you really get a good combative preview for a game like we usually enjoy. Now, I've invited my good friend Lucas to the show. Hello, Coach Lucas.
For whom?
Hello, Scotty. How you doing, boys?
Great, thank you. Now, Lucas, can you please tell the stream?
First, can I say hi, Lucas?
Oh, of course. Sorry.
Yeah.
How are you, Lucas? I've actually seen you on your rubbish team channel that you've got there, right? And I'm just wondering, why have you got your top on, mate? Why have we got the top on for this preview?
Right.
I fucking knew this question was going to come because literally I've got the I played the town. Literally, I played the town clown. So I thought, I'll be sensible today and wear a shirt. So I should have seen that coming, eh?
All good, mate. Welcome to the channel, man. This will be good. Welcome,
Lucas. Can you tell us which shithouse team you go for?
Well, it's pretty obvious at the back, isn't it?
Yeah.
The best team since the year 2000, the team that can win premierships.
Oh, here we go.
So,
here we go.
So, Liam, I've sprung a fucking cat head on you, mate. And I thought maybe you might enjoy a bit of a preview for this week's game.
I thought you said I was getting a good surprise, but all right. No disrespect. No disrespect. Good to have a Geelong supporter on.
Yeah. Now you're actually going to be at this game, Liam, aren't you?
I'm heading down, so it's my first time in Geelong. So I don't know, Lucas, if you got any tips, if it's what to do.
No. I'm going to dob in Lucas here. He's not a local. He probably gets to more games than Manny, though. Where do you live, Lucas?
I live in Adelaide.
Yeah, like we couldn't tell.
Yeah. So, geez, thanks. It's not that bad. Fucking hell. No, Liam probably gets to more Geelong games than I do, even though Richmond don't play there in years. No, I've been to too many Adelaide Oval. We've been twice this year, gather round, and the poor game last year in the qualifying final against Port. So my viewing at the ground, I think we won 6-0. So I've got a good record when I watch my team at the ground live. So I like to keep it that way. But I don't think we'll play there for the rest of the year. Hoping it's against the Crows. Wouldn't mind that. But no. Thanks for having me. And I'll try to do my best to look sensible and not look like a dickhead for once, and embarrass the Hoops crew.
No, don't worry. I embarrassed myself on your channel enough. Now,
Yeah.
Liam, who's the big matchups that you're looking for this weekend?
Well, clearly we're going to be a bit stretched down forward. I reckon you guys are going to have a way. I'm worried about someone like Tom Stewart. He's just going to run around and intercept mark everything. I reckon he's going to, he'll have a day out for sure. Clearly the new man with the blonde locks, Bailey Smith, is going to require a bit of stopping. I think McIntosh may get a bit of a run on him at the stage, but I don't think he can go with him, to be honest. But we definitely need to try him. And then, clearly a forward line is going to be good. I think we need to start Ben Miller on Jeremy Cameron. That's something the last couple of weeks we've put Noah Bolt back there after Ben Miller has done a good job. But yes, Ben Miller needs to go to Jeremy Cameron and lock him down.
Actually,
that would be the big matchup.
Liam, just on Bolter watch, it's a twilight game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Out at Geelong. Are we within the curfew?
I'm not 100% sure, but
it's 4:15 in Geelong.
I'm not too upset if he doesn't play. He's kind of upset our rhythm a bit down there.
Yeah.
I think we're actually doing
with this what is it that is curfew that he's got?
Yeah, it's curfew. Yeah.
Does he have to be at his house, or does he have to be just at a hotel?
It's his registered address, just like any other crim.
It's proper stuff.
Yeah.
Mate.
Now, Lucas, are you concerned about the curfew at all, or?
Well, I'm sure if he does play, they can sub him at halftime and they can send him on his way. Look, Noah Bolton is a good player, curfew or not. He's a very good defender. He does improve Richmond's back down back. With Liam's point on Tom Stewart's been a little bit disappointing for me this year. Now I know he's not playing midfield minutes compared to last year. That's because of Bailey Smith. And I personally would like him to run on the ball when he is in a bad form. There was a game last year against Port Adelaide in Geelong where Jed McAtee had him on the string. And then Chris Scott put him in the midfield and turned his form around. We can't really do that with Bailey Smith in the midfield. So this is a kind of game, no disrespect to Tigers and Liam here, that I'd like to see certain players do well and put scoreboard pressure on. We had a bad loss 2 weeks ago coming off the bye to Brisbane.
Get over it, Lucas. Get over it, man. It was 2 weeks ago. You got to lose one.
Well, we got to lose one, but I thought against a top team that was pretty disappointing, and that ridiculous white shirts. How stupid did that look, in my opinion? The white t-shirts.
That was. What are you doing? I would have kicked you out of the league for just doing that stupid stuff.
Did you see that gimmick, Marco?
Sorry, mate?
Did you see the whiteout at GMHBA for Patrick Dangerfield's milestone?
Did they try to like copy the American one? Did they?
Yeah, they tried to copy the basketball years in the playoffs. Yeah, the Miami Heat.
How much did you pay for a shirt on eBay though, Lucas? Because you couldn't get one for free. How much did you pay for one?
Well, I saw them going out for an absolute bargain at $10 plus $10 delivery fee.
Because I know who didn't pay a cent for them, and that was the Geelong Football Club, because they're all from Cotton On, off the books.
Wasn't a game of blackout? Wasn't a game of blackout that evening, not a whiteout?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to Mark.
Yeah, Mark, what are you doing with that disgusting cap on, mate? Like, it's not the 90s no more. It's not Curtly. It's not Curtly Ambrose and Courtney Walsh time. Get that hat off.
Oh no, I'm still passionate about the West Indies.
Can I say that is absolute? That's worse than you following the Bombers. That is a disgrace that you actually follow West Indies.
Yes,
you are Australian. I doubt that actually, but you are a disgrace. And I know that West Indies were great at the time, but don't worry, Australia had their good games. But
Yeah.
in your theory, you should follow Collingwood now.
Well, yeah, I don't mind supporting the actually Pies. I'm supporting.
Oh,
You cannot say that.
I'm missing my buddy Magpie Manny at the moment, so I thought I'd start supporting him this evening. But going on the Geelong and Richmond game, well, obviously Geelong, they train at their home ground, which is a massive
advantage.
But geez, they could train at the home ground. They play an extra game now this year. Was it 12 home games at GMH, whatever, BA, SST.
Yeah, Mark, you support a big four club has to go and play down in that paddock.
And the thing is, it's going to be a lot closer than what you guys think, because it'll be close to what the Collingwood West Coast game was. So I think we're doing the tips. If we're doing the tips, I think Geelong will win by.
All right. Well, we'll remember that, Mark. Now, Lucas, do you have any because Richmond still have many quality players across the ground. Who are you most afraid of across each line?
Well, I was afraid of Tom Lynch belting somebody, so I don't have to worry about that this week.
Well, actually, if he got off from it, do you reckon Tom Stewart would be prepared to line him up again?
Oh yeah,
I think. If he
grand final.
should have seen that coming.
Dangerfield's a thug.
I remember that, mate.
Actually, you know what? After that, I don't want.
You guys know our players actually.
Yeah.
Well, you won that grand final, so what are you talking about? Don't worry about that. You won that grand final, sadly.
Nah, I'm still upset about it, though. He can cost our bloke and gets away.
Right. Still upset. I love it.
I thought the Warriors played for Carlton, not for Geelong.
I've been waiting for this, haven't I? Huh? I can't hear you.
What do you reckon about Bailey Smith? Do you go like at night? Before you go to bed, do you quietly go in the toilet by yourself with a picture of Bailey Smith every night?
Oh, look, I tell you, it's a recruit of the year, isn't he? Fantastic player. I don't know why Bulldogs let him go so quietly. But look, he's been fantastic out. We needed an inside mid life after Dangerfield. He's been our inside mid, that ball. And then he's been getting extra touches on the outside. So he's very damaging player, probably leading the Brownlow. So I hope there's talk that Geelong might stat pad this week. Give him more of the ball than what he literally does. I don't want to see that. I want to see a response.
That's unfortunate.
We'll give it that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're playing Richmond. I would like to play a higher team like a Freo or a Crows. But I expect to see a response from that pathetic showing against Brisbane. I'd like this game to be over at half time.
Last month, bro. Come on.
Wait, Lucas, I'll ask you one thing.
You've had 2 weeks and a bye since that loss. Like, come on, man.
We have long memories in Geelong, Scott.
One thing, the only bit of hope that I'm holding on to for this game is that out of the bye, you guys do terrible. Is that any concern for you at all? Is that any concern that you guys come out of the bye? And you are coming off the back of a bad performance, as you've said. Is there any concerns about how you come out of this bye again?
Again, not to disrespect Richmond, but if it was a higher team we're playing, then maybe yes. With Richmond, historically, when Geelong play bottom sides, they win well, regardless of where they are, what round it is. They historically do well. And when I mean do well, they just destroy the hell out of them. West Coast last year by 90 points. They've got a hold of North in Geelong. So historically, they do win these games against the bottom teams. So there isn't a concern this time. Mind you, there'll be a little bit of a concern when we play North under the roof. That game worries me more than this game. So
Lucas, you play at Marvel twice a year.
well, North. You never know what you're going to get with North. Some days may be good, some days may be shit. That old saying. But with Richmond, no, they've got very good players. Is Sam Lalor back? Is he back? I know he was a test last week.
Sam Lalor will be in the mix to get picked.
Yep.
He'll definitely be in the mix.
Yeah, he's a shining.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a shining light for Richmond. I think he's a very good player. I get they're rebuilding. It's very hard, but you'd rather rebuild now than do it when Tasmania come in, because if you're rebuilding while you're doing it with Tasmania, you're going to be on the bottom for a very long time. So I think Richmond are doing the right thing, doing it now. I think, the larger picture of Richmond, Liam, I think you're probably 3-4 years away when probably Tasmania come into the league. So I think you've timed to rebuild extremely well. So I like Adam Hughes as a coach. He's had it pretty tough. That's what happens when you take over a bottom team. You're going to have it tough. So I'm glad the critics haven't gone nuclear on him like Carlton and Voss, rightly so. But I think Richmond in the long term will be all right, Liam, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I agree with you, mate, and it's good. And I'm glad you're supporting the coach, because that's something I want some Richmond fans to remember. They're very quick after one game to be like, get him out. No good. It's like,
it's
just getting started. Like
it's true though, Liam, because some coaches will actually take on the challenge and other coaches will just walk into a pre-made list and start winning flags instantly and not really have to suffer through the hard yards.
He's a new coach, brand new first time head coach. He's building with our team. Much like our last coach.
Yeah, you got it.
Same thing. Built with our team. Look where we got to.
Yeah.
So, exactly. When Damien Hardwick took over, it wasn't like they made finals the first year. It took time. And back then, of course they had the greatest clutch player, in my opinion, in AFL history, in Dustin Martin. They recruited well. They got Tom Lintrober from Gold Coast. They've got Prestio, who I think is probably the number one clearance player. Even during the COVID times, even during their prime times, I think he was very important as a clearance player, more important than Dustin Martin, in my opinion. So he got all these players in. He rebuilt that list, and it took time. Probably should have won 4 grand finals. Probably the name Mason Cox haunts Liam. But no, they. But no, they've done very very well, Richmond, with their rebuild under them, and now it's a new era. You got to move with the times, or the times moves you. So, and I think Richmond are doing that. I'm a bit nervous for Rocco's Carlton. Don't
worry.
Yeah, I'm worried.
No, don't worry. We'll be fine. You're not going to win a grand final this year because you're not the best side. You'll fall over in the finals, probably like a preliminary or something, and then we'll be back and we'll beat you like we did in '95. Hey, I'm still living on that dream. Leave me alone. '95 was a great year, mate.
It was a great year for you guys in those brown paper bags.
We got brown cotton on bags now.
Is that the same paper bag that you get from the government so you can build your stadium and everything? Is that the same way?
Yeah.
Or are we talking about the bags that your players are on and overdosing in nightclubs that we don't hear about?
Oh yes. Well, we grab our arms around those kind of players, and hope it doesn't happen again. But if it does, we cut them. So. No one's invincible at our club. So, I like to think that. Anyway, no one player is bigger than the club, whether it's Geelong, Carlton, Essendon, anyone. So,
except for Dangerfield. Everyone loves Dangerfield. He's the fucking messiah.
Everyone loves Danger, except for Liam. Yeah. Liam doesn't like Danger. No. Yeah. Okay.
Lucas. I love you. Thank you so much for coming on. Can we just get a final score prediction between the two of you?
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I think Geelong by 70 plus. I'd like this game to be over half time. I really would. I want that response.
And that's when they come out of a bye and they're shit and they're going to smash them by 70. So what do you say to that, Liam?
No. Back us in, boys. 3's the magic number. Richmond by 3 points. Done. We're doing it, mate. We're getting it done. It'll be a great start.
I love it.
Love your opinion, Liam. No, good optimist. There's been delusional and there's been optimistic. So
I'm being optimistic. That is it.
You're in the right track. At least you didn't say Richmond by 50.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. Oh, I want a close game. I want excitement, but I want to win.
I want a percentage. I want a percentage booster so we can get a home final in Geelong. When's that going to happen?
No. You play finals, mate. You come to the big boy stage, all right?
We're only just getting Essendon to Geelong. When are we going to get Collingwood? The black and white army. When are we going to get them to Geelong? We don't seem to get those kind of teams. We're only just getting Richmond. During their premiership, we get them.
Once we put another 200 million into that joint, and you can fit another 40,000, then maybe.
Well, Matt,
Lucas, thank you so
maybe
much for coming on. I tell everybody that I like to harass you and your mates over at Hoops Crew. So if anyone wants to say hello to them, make sure.
Hoops Crew?
Hoops Crew, yeah.
No worries, Scotty. Next time I'm on, I'll promise I'll be shirtless.
Lucas knows his stuff, and so do his mum. I was on the phone with his mum till about 1:30 in the morning Saturday night, and she said that West Coast was going to win, and nobody believed her. And legit, I thought that she had the gift for the first 3 quarters.
Well, she said Carlton should win by 50 against Port Adelaide, so she was wrong with that one.
But she goes to the Crows. Of course, she's going to say that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just imagine if I have to play them in the prelim final. How this house is going to be. I might have to sleep on the porch. Good luck to me for that one. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Lucas. Love you.
Thanks
Lucas.
brother.
All right.
Yeah, his channel looks really good, actually. You know.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're top quality, and they appreciate a bit of back and forth, a bit of banter. Now we've got.
They're actually okay.
Yeah, they're okay. For Geelong supporters, all right. Yeah. Now we've got 2 blokes here that have been very, very patient, and for all the Collingwood supporters that have stuck fat in the chat.
There's a few in there, I noticed.
I know you had to get double teamed by Blue supporters for about an hour or so. So I'm going to do something unprecedented.
Oh, we're going to be double teamed by the Collingwood.
Mixed Qatar, Simo. Thank you for waiting patiently. You were there forever. For waiting so long, you just get a free hit on us, mate. Let's hear it.
Can I just say,
how are we, boys? Are we good?
No, very good. Michael, and you came on the first time and you were a little bit shy in that. Now you're coming on and you're putting like funny, stick fat on your name and that. All of a sudden, look at that. He's moved up. Now he's starting to give it to us. We all
I got a promotion. You gave me a promotion. Thanks.
Yeah, and mixed Qatar. Those are some massive forearms, bro. What are you trying to say?
What's going on there, mate? Like, geez, we're going to cop a nice smack in the face.
Now,
there, man.
when you go like this, you can make them look a lot bigger than they are.
Fucking hell, it's been an absolute fucking Carlton sook fest, man. Fucking hell, you guys, man. But I'll tell you one thing. We've got a lot in common, yeah? Carlton, there's a lot in common, man. We both hate Carlton. There you go.
Yeah, I've heard that one about 100 times.
I waited 1 hour to say that.
You know what?
Oh, well, congratulations.
I'll give you another one,
bro.
Yeah, I'll give us another one.
All right. There's 3 guarantees for this Friday, yeah? 3 guarantees things that are going to happen, yeah? First one, this is what happens every fucking time we play is, man. All right, first quarter, Kerno kicks a goal from a fucking bullshit free kick, and he does the fucking guns, fucking celebrates it like he won the fucking flag. Happens every time, yeah?
Yeah.
The second thing, all right, we just destroy us in a 15-minute burst of dominance, yeah? It's just bang, 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 game over, yeah? And the third, at the end of the game after we've won, Cripper, for some reason, fucking smiles after you fucking lose. And, yeah, those 3.
Smiling.
I'll write it down.
They're not just smiling, they're patting other players on the arse and just making sure that...
What are you talking about? Patting people on the back after they kick the opposition. the opposition kicks a goal. What are you talking about, mate? Like, we bring it to the next level, like Carlton.
Dacos is going to kick a blind 50-meter goal, and our players are going to chair him off to the back to the midfield.
Like, all right, but on a serious note, are we going to? I mean, are we going to be tagging Dacos? Is that what we're going to do? You reckon we'll tag Dacos?
Oh, look, you probably could try, but he's probably like we said the other week, he's probably still going to hit his 30, 32, 33, 34 disposals that he can hit. But what, like, from a Carlton view, do you guys want to try tag him, or do you guys think it's better to not tag him?
Well, traditionally, George Hewitt has taken Dacos. I say traditionally when he's played for this is his third year. But our tagger, Chincotta, has typically gone to Bobby Hill.
Yeah.
Isn't he? Bobby Hill?
Well, he was out for personal reasons last week.
Yeah,
so who knows?
I think he's 50-50. I think he might be back in. He might not for Friday. Yeah.
Look,
I heard personal reason. I heard him and Elijah were out last week, so I don't think he's coming in. Him and Elijah.
With Bailey Smith.
Yeah, it was personal.
Ugle-Hagen.
Yeah, it was personal reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I probably wouldn't vomit up my whole dinner if I saw Chincotta lining up on Dacos. But if it's not working and we have to break the tag, I don't trust this coaching panel to be able to adjust accordingly.
Fair.
Yeah, I'd rather have, if Chincotta's going to tag a player, I'd rather have him in a position where he can damage you guys both ways. So if he was tagging someone on the back line, but that's not what, well, actually, no, we did that to Caleb Daniel and he did stuff all. So I don't know. Tagging, we never really tagged Colin. Oh, yeah, sorry. Outside of Bobby Hill, yeah, no. I just don't want to go into the game with that mindset, particularly.
No, I agree. Another thing I don't like is smoking on the channel. Just want to put that out there.
That's why you notice. That's why you notice Mick. I tend to duck off.
Yeah. No smoking on the channel, you Collingwood scum.
Kind of a log, are you, man?
It's
I'm a new age wog, mate. I'm a new age wog, man. I like to keep healthy, but I don't. Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't think putting Chincotta to tag. I don't think it's the right thing to do to tag Dacos. I don't think it is.
Yeah,
I think
particularly for the last month, Rocco, we haven't been playing a win. We've just been playing not to lose.
Exactly, and we can't do that this week. I mean, as much as it's going to be hard, we have to go out there to win this game. We've got a few youngsters. We've got to try to win this game. We've got to. You can't be playing a negative role like that. And I think Chincotta is better than just a tagger.
Absolutely. That's what I mean. If you're gonna put him on someone, make sure you can damage it both ways because he's more than capable.
I agree. And he showed last year when he did do some of those tagging roles. I mean, he was going forward kicking goals.
Yeah, Geelong, Essendon, Port games. Yeah,
we love the Chink. We love
absolutely. It. Now, Michael and Mick, like. Maybe if you were on Carlton's coaching panel and you had to pick like an obscure choice for us to tag, who would it be outside the obvious ones? Who would you tag yourself that would make the most impact?
Yeah, and we're not talking
Billy Frampton or
Yeah. Look, I'd probably look at someone that has been pretty damaging for us this season. One of our best players this season. Would you guys agree with maybe a Ned Long? Could you tag someone like him?
Yeah, definitely.
This kid breaks through everything. I've seen him go through bloody 3 players here and there in some of these games.
It's not necessarily
make him feel the pressure or something. Yeah.
Yeah, or a defensive midfielder that could just hold in there. But like, I know what you mean. He can run like a rhino, man. But
yeah,
like I know. Well, you don't want Cripps kind of negating that, but
would you also maybe think Pendlebury?
Yeah, that's
Pendlebury always goes
possibly,
and destroys it.
Yeah.
Now I know you don't watch games because Cripper plays his best games against Collingwood. So now I know you don't watch games. Are you acting like Manny now? When has Pendlebury destroyed Cripper? I mean, the last time he won a Brownlow, he played on fucking Pendlebury and got 3 votes. What are you talking about? Nah, that's not right, mate. Come on. That's
no, do you know what I'd go after from Collingwood?
You're gonna bring up the Brownlow for Cripper, mate. That was ridiculous. That whole fucking charade of a.
I agree, Mick. He was robbed. That
was ridiculous, man.
Why?
If I was him, I would have been fucking embarrassed to go up, and I would have said, mate, that was too many votes. That was ridiculous.
Too many votes.
Is he the greatest player ever or something? Come on, man.
No, but he had a great year. So tell me, all right, so since you know that year so well, which 3 votes shouldn't he have got?
So, Mick, just let them have the Brownlow. They need to cheer something.
No, but it's not the point. I mean, fair enough. You know, like he had an extraordinary year, and it was going to happen. I mean, just don't get me wrong. Fucking Dacos also broke the record that year. Is he the greatest player ever?
He did.
No, but you brought up the Brownlow like it's some fucking badge of honor. Everyone knows it's a joke.
Anyone that's won the Brownlow, it is a badge of honor. I mean, you can't take away that accolade from him. A dual Brownlow medalist, dual. You can't take away what Cripper has done. Like, I won't let you bag Cripper just for the sake of bagging him. Right? He's carried that team. And that year there was a fucking great year.
Yeah, but it didn't deserve that many fucking votes, man.
Who are you to say? That's like many times. In fucking 94, bloody Williams deserved 3 votes in the last game and he got 0 when he got 40 possessions. I mean, who are you to say which votes he should get and which he shouldn't get? Tell me something. Take away the votes. Is he a deserving winner? Is he a deserving winner?
Yes, he is. Yes.
And what you're trying to do, you're trying to discredit him because of what the umpires gave votes for. He was a deserving winner, mate. And he's a dual Brownlow. Yeah, he hasn't won a premiership. He knows that. We know that. But you can't take away his accolades. Look, mate, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't bag Cripper, mate. He's one bloke that deserves all the accolades. All the accolades, mate. The bloke carries that side.
And you're going to tell me he destroys Pendles every fucking game?
I didn't say he destroys every game. No, you said that. You said that. You said every time he goes on to Pendlebury destroys him, and that's an absolute lie, right? Because in actual fact, Cripper has his best games against Collingwood.
All right.
No, all right.
I'll admit, I did exaggerate a little bit there, but yeah, it's good to see you get fired up, mate. It's good to see you get fired up, Rocco.
I'm telling you, Michael, fucking black and white, you're making me want to go this week and want to absolutely punish you, man. Like, you're bringing it back, man, and I'm loving it.
What did I do? I'm sitting here enjoying this conversation.
Hey, you can't bring up 2023 like it's some fucking watershed year, man.
No. We hate 23 now. We hate 23.
Not really. If you actually listen to us and our shows and that, we actually say that's the odd thing out. It's not something that we hang our hat on. We always say that was like a 12 or 14 game streak, but it doesn't say where we really are. No, you're wrong. I don't bring up nothing, man. To me, like that was a good effort, 23, to make the preliminary. But what did we get out of it at the end?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's like you guys when you go out straight bet this year, you'll get nothing. I'm telling you, I guarantee you will go out in before you get to the grand final.
All right.
What do you reckon, Mark? Will they go out this year before they make it to the grand final?
I think a lot of teams now are starting to catch Collingwood.
What would he know about finals, Rocco? Why ask him the questions? Jesus Christ, mate.
Michael, mate, just be careful, mate. Be careful, mate. I'll tell you, I know a lot about.
Is he allowed to have a say with his question? Come on,
happen,
man.
Mate? Collingwood.
Take the cap off, Mark. You look atrocious, mate.
Brought out, mate. They're slow. And when it counts, which is the end of the season, you'll see what happens, mate. You'll all be sitting there crying. Get rid of Kenderby. Get rid of Sidebottom. They're getting old. They're geriatrics. So I've got a funny feeling, mate, that Rocco's pretty good on here, mate. That one is
as long as I don't take the supplements, it's fine.
It'll be Brisbane. And I think I'm going to get close to maybe Brisbane and Freo this year, mate. So
Freo. That's a big call.
Freo are playing some good football, mate. They've won the last 6 games, and they'll continue. And they'll have some home finals. And it might be between Brisbane and Freo this year, mate.
So their 6-game win streak likely ends this week. That's fine.
Against
they got Sydney have they?
The Swans up there.
Really? Okay. Well, yeah. Okay, that's a flip of the coin for me. That tip there.
Mate.
Freo in the grand final to a flip of the coin game.
Well, it's in Sydney. It's in Sydney. So, if they beat Sydney, be mindful that they'll get quite close to making the grand final, I think, Freo.
If they beat Sydney and get 7 in a row, mate, it's a good effort. Let's be real.
Yeah, I reckon, yeah. They've got a good chance of beating Sydney this week. They are playing good footy. They are playing some good footy.
They should beat Sydney.
Yeah, they should be.
Question for Scotty and even Rocco. You guys mentioned before that beating Collingwood this week will mean nothing, right?
Yeah.
In the overall scheme of things,
yeah.
Yeah, in the overall scheme of things, I don't think it really means a lot. On the night, of course, it's going to mean something, but
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say. Will it mean nothing because, like, you guys know, like, you're probably not going to be there in September. Whereas if you were contending a bit more, maybe the win does mean something for you. If you know what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah. Well, I've always said that it'd be typical that even though our season was dead the last time we played you, the time that we could potentially like smash you was when it meant absolutely nothing. Or if we do put up a fight against you guys, it's after all the pressure's off. But like, I haven't felt good about a win since Geelong. That was round 7. And even then that win's kind of been spoiled again because you realize that neither team in that game was ever going to play like that for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be like good banter if we somehow beat you guys by like 10 goals, but it's not what I'm expecting. And
what will happen? Like, even you guys, I just say we beat you, right? I can just hear it outside. What's going to happen? Oh, we're still on top of the ladder. You're still not going to make the finals. That's going to come out, and you're right.
Really,
you're right. You're still on top of the ladder. We're probably not going to make the finals. So, yeah, there's going to be a little bit between Carlton and Collingwood. But mate, I told you, I look at the game too far ahead, man. I don't enjoy anything anymore, unless I win a premiership now. I'm beyond just being happy for one game. I'll tell you. Well, you answer the question. You answer it, Mick. I got Michael and I got Mick. Mick, you answer this. We beat you this week, right? Is it such a big deal?
Wouldn't bother me at all.
See?
It wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, that's because of the position that we're in, Mick.
That's right.
It wouldn't
Exactly.
bother us because we're 10 points, clear. It'll only be our third loss, mate. So we're still in this comfortable ride, this comfortable position, so we can take the loss. That's what I said in the chat before. Maybe it does mean more if Carlton win it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, will it
And
maybe?
in the last few games, we've been in a form slump and we're still winning. And it's obvious.
Yeah,
you can tell McRae is fucking experimenting. Like the whole first half of the year, side bottom was in the middle and fucking dominating, and everyone was saying, he's our best. He's been our best player. The last few weeks, he's taken side bottom out of the middle. He's trying different things because we're in this position where he can. And I wouldn't be surprised if he tries something on Friday. Like, he went with 4 talls last week, man. He just trying just to see how it works. And obviously it didn't work. We were too tall in the end. But I wouldn't be surprised if he tries something this Friday. And if we do lose, it wouldn't bother me, mate. It'll be just funny listening to my Carlton supporter mates fucking start giggling and start getting hope up. But, it wouldn't bother me if we lost.
Yeah, that's all right. But if you do lose, it will be the run of losses for you.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But
as I said, we've got a tough run. We've got a tough run coming up as well.
Yeah, you
so
have.
I'm charging my phone.
You've got Adelaide over there, yeah. So you have got a tough run. But look, at the end of the day, man, I know probably you feel the same, Scotty. Listen, it's going to be tough this week, but. I saw a comment by Rat Poison. He put up this comment. It's 1,000 to 1 to beat Collingwood. Okay, so was Richmond against Carlton in round 1. I just think not that it's not that it's the Carlton Collingwood. I think a lot of things have happened off field. I don't know. A lot of things have happened off field this week that have really put a bullet, like a rocket up their ass, like a lot, like the graffiti of the club, which I don't agree on, but the sentiment I do understand, but I don't agree with graffiti. But
yeah, I can't stand any of that. I don't like looking at any of that stuff.
Shit, man. And then and I've got actually an idea how to stop graffiti if you want to hear it after this.
Go ahead when you're ready.
Yeah, I've got an idea, but so I think about with Graham Wright announcing that he's going to come in early, the president making a thing. I think there's been this big rocket up their ass. I don't know. We'll see. We'll be generals after the battle. That what happens after the game. Will it put enough of a rocket up their ass to do something? Even with our players out, I still think we've got enough good players if they all played at their best. But the problem is Curnow, TDK, all of them, maybe Chera and Hewitt have been the only ones who have been consistent this year. So for all of them to step up, man, it's a big ask. It's a massive ask. You
never know. Maybe Righty gave him the riot act, mate, and said to some of the players, fuck, mate, show something this week because, mate, some of you are going to go, mate. They could be playing for their futures, mate. You never know.
Well, would you guys know, is he that type where, like, even the position that he was in at your club, would he go in and give him a good rev up if needed?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, man. But all I could say is when he came in and made those fucking drastic changes, I was very against it. But in hindsight, it's worked. But fuck, they were real ballsy decisions. And now he's done it twice. Now he did it at Hawthorn and he did it at Collingwood. Mm-hmm. Can he keep that up? And will Carlton's board let him do what he wants to do? Because if he says to the board, McKay, you're gone, fucking, even you've been hearing it. Cripper's like a lot of Carlton fans are saying, Cripper can go as well. The only one that's untouchable is probably Weedery.
I think what you've got to understand is what we're saying is, and the sensible concept is what we're saying is no one is off the table. And that should be for any club. No one is off the table. If you get a good enough deal, I mean, there's only one or two at your club that you kind of won't touch. But at the end of the day, man, if you're going to get, like you say, Cripper, if they're going to give you a first round pick and then, maybe a future or something, and you can, like Fab was saying last night, and then you can bottle that up and do something. Well, like, you'll be stupid not to do it. Like, what are you doing, So is Curnow up on the table? Of course he is. Is Mackay up on the table? But they're not. The problem is they're not all going to go. They're not all going to go, but I guarantee there might be one, maybe two that are going to be put up, and we're going to move on with the list. That's going to be the thing. But that's
also,
good.
I'm not sure if you guys are across this, but we've got 18 players that are out of contract at the end of the year, and another 15 or 16 next year. There's going to be change regardless.
Yeah, that's right.
Probably our best opportunity to retain some of our best value players, while also just trimming the fat. Really,
we got, think about it, 17 players out of contract at the end of the year.
Yeah, I remember you guys talking about this on the jumper punch. I think it was the other month?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And we've got like 36 or something in 2 years. In 2 years, that's a lot of list changes. So when Graham Wright says he's happy with the list, he's probably thinking, yeah, I'm happy with the top end, and I'm also happy with the amount of players that are, going to be, on the table to possibly be either delisted or traded.
Yeah. Don't be surprised if he goes full on, man. Don't be, because mate, we were surprised to see fucking Grundy, Treloar, and fucking Phillips, and fucking Stevenson, who's turned out to be a dud, but back then he was the best young player. We were all surprised to hear all that, and it was all doom and gloom, mate. And we were thinking, fuck, mate, we're gonna be a fucking shit for fucking 10 years now. But obviously,
it was the best. It was the best move.
Turns out not. Yeah.
It was the best move at the end of the day. And that's what I mean. You've got to be prepared. And I'm not saying these players are going to go, but you've got to be prepared to get rid of them, right? If you want to improve your list. Like at the end of the day, like realistically, the Carlton supporters out there, right? You go, oh, the list is not good, like about a thing. And then you go, we get rid of these players. And they go, no. So what do you want that? And you want that? Like, what do you want? If you want to improve the list, like, I'll give you an example. I know everyone talks about Kennedy. Oh, he's gone a Bulldog. You should have. Don't get me wrong. Kennedy's had a good year, right? And he probably would have been okay at Carlton. But everyone's been saying, oh, the midfield's too slow. We need this. We need that. Then we get rid of one of the players. Everyone goes, why did you do that? Because we've got that many of those sort of players. We want to put some pace into it. We get someone like Jagger Smith, who unfortunately gets injured, right? So we understand and we go towards that direction. Unfortunately, there was, he gets injured and all that. But do you understand? They were trying to do something. And then we got someone like Cooper Lord, who's a young kid who plays like Kennedy. So now you're thinking, okay, you get rid of him. You've got the young kid that comes in. Then we're going to inject some speed into there. So they're trying to do the right thing. Sometimes you've got to make those bold moves. Sometimes they don't work. Sometimes, but if you make a move on a player and you get rid of him and he plays well at another club, you shouldn't worry about that. Like, that's good for him. Like Kennedy, good on him. He's playing well, but he wasn't in our plan. And we made the move, That's it.
Sometimes the risk for the reward.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Rocco, I heard you got attacked by a magpie a couple of days ago.
This is on the bench with Terry. Oh, mate.
Magpies, man, and it wouldn't leave us alone, mate. It would not leave us alone, mate.
Listen,
and Terry
man.
got up to chase it away, and he kept walking. It didn't even fly away. He just walked around the bench to the other side.
He walked away and
Mate.
had a shit.
Why?
Unbelievable.
So why are you guys going close to its nest, man? They're beautiful creatures, magpies, mate. When you go close to their nest, they're going to attack, mate.
Don't say that around people, Mick. Be careful.
No, they're actually very.
I feel sorry for.
It's a good creature.
I feel sorry for Mark and Liam, mate. They're going to listen to all this shit, mate. Fuck.
Yeah,
Look,
well, that's part of it at the moment, mate. I'm just a little bit disappointed that you boys really haven't really shown any rivalry here or any banter. One club here, Carlton. One club, Carlton here is happy to lose against Collingwood, and Collingwood's happy.
When did I want you to stop. I want
You're meant to be a top 4 rival, Mark, and there's Geelong supporters popping up more than you, mate.
Why do you lie, Mark? Why do you
I'm
lie?
not top 4, mate. I am the 4.
Mark, answer my question. Why do you lie?
I'm not lying, mate. What I'm trying to say is that
when did I say tonight or any night that I was happy to lose?
No, you guys are. Look,
when did I say that? Answer the question. Answer the question. When did I say it? When did I say it? When did I say it?
I didn't say you said it. Did I say
yes,
you said
did.
it?
You said Rocco said he was happy to lose.
I said the Carlton. Now you're putting words into my mouth, Rocco. What I'm trying to say is that
sorry, you're the host.
It's a rivalry game. It's a rivalry game, and the Carlton supporters are content to lose. They're not even sitting there fighting and saying, yeah, you know, we can go out there and beat Collingwood. And then Collingwood is sitting there saying, the supporters are sitting there saying, well, you know, if we lose, I'm happy to lose.
What would you? All right, Mark. I want you to know. Sorry, I'm going to hijack this, Scotty. Listen, what would you want me to say, Mark? What do you want me to say? You want me to be unrealistic?
I don't want you to say nothing, Rocco. What I'm trying to say to you is that at the end of the day, or say to the viewers, that the Carlton supporters are happy to lose against Collingwood.
Oh, no one said that. No one has said that. No one in the history of fucking Carlton and Collingwood has ever said that.
Well, that's what I've noticed.
It's not that they're happy. It's not that they're happy to lose, Mark. Happy is the word there. It's not that they're happy. It's just
they're content.
It won't mean anything. Like I said before.
That's exactly right. So what the fuck's a rivalry?
We're being realistic. Like if you're coming up
and Collingwood are sitting, you guys are sitting there saying, "Oh, well, if Carlton beat us, we'll it's probably a good thing that they beat us."
Yeah,
what's going on,
Mark?
guys?
It's not a rivalry anymore, man. It's not a rivalry anymore.
Mate. That's what the show's about, mate. It's about being rivalry. It's not about talking about who's going to lose and who's going. Come on, boys. Get with it now.
Hey, if your teams fucking step up and make it a rivalry, it's a rivalry. But right now, we just fucking destroy everyone, mate.
Does not matter, mate. If this is playing Collingwood next week or Carlton or Richmond, mate, I'll be sitting there fighting for my club to say, let's go out and beat these guys, mate. Not be content to say, oh, you know, we're not playing good football. Fair enough. But get out there and just fucking support your club, mate. Go out there and be passionate about your team.
Mark, I love this attitude, Mark. I've got a question for you as well. I think you got Gold Coast this week. Would you rather lose by 100 points or win by 3 points?
See, again, at the end of the day, if we're going to go into this game, I'll speak about the game, but we have to beat these. Regardless of where you are in the position on the ladder, mate. If you're playing an interstate side at your home ground, you need to be competitive and you need to win for your supporters and your club. That's all there is to it, mate. Regardless, if it's 100 points or 2 points.
I think you missed the point. He's giving it to you because you actually said that you'd rather lose by 100 than win by 3. Do you remember that, Mark?
Thank you, Rocco. Thank you.
You're going about a conversation that I might have said like fucking 30 shows or 50 shows ago, mate.
You said it.
Oh, well, I said it. Okay, well, fair enough. At the end of the day, regardless of where you're on the ladder, where you're on the bottom or on the top, when you play at home and you're playing an interstate side, You need to beat those teams. That's how I see it. It's not about anything. It's more about just having your members and your supporters at the ground to put in 100% and beat these teams. So that's how I see it, Mick. I'll be at the game this Saturday, at 12:35 it is, I think, the game. And I'll be supporting him, and we need to beat these teams, regardless of the injuries or the situation that we're in at this stage. I'm going to go there, and I'm going to be confident we have to beat these teams.
Now, when Seber and that was on and Bocek, what did we say? What did we say? What did we say about our game? We said, when was asked, what would you be happy? We said,
I asked that question.
You asked, and we said nothing but a win. We said that.
That's true.
We said that, but then you come up and you turn around and you try to turn it around into this. You gotta want to win it. You gotta want to do that. Like, what are you talking about, bro? We said that half an hour ago. Nothing but a win will do. But we're realistic in where we're at. That's all. You're different. You say that, but you're not realistic. You think you're still premiership favourites.
Well, mate, statistically, we can still make the finals, and I'll keep on. We can all laugh, and we all could keep going on, carrying on what we want. But that's what I believe. Statistically, we can still make the finals. Until it gets to the stage that we cannot make it, then I'll sit back and not worry. But I'll always have faith in my club and my team and support them, and not sit there and say, "Oh, we're gonna lose." No. We're going to win every week.
Well, thanks for bringing the banter, Mark. It was sorely missed, but Michael and Mick, I think I might actually. I've turned back onto the Greeks. I love you guys now.
I want to hear.
Thank you, Scotty, mate. Thank you.
I want to hear Rocco's graffiti solution.
Oh, yeah. We'll do that because we still got to do tips, and we got a legend in the lounge.
We did say, all right, this is simple. If I was running for Parliament, this would be simple. Anyone that gets caught graffiti, right, I would tattoo that same thing on their head, right? It's easy. Whatever you graffiti on the wall, I tattoo on your head. Now think about this, right? What happens here? You stop the graffiti, but you also give jobs to the graffiti, to the tattoo artist, right? I guarantee within a year, there'll be no more graffiti anywhere. So and I'm saying it, tattooing it on your forehead, because then someone might say, oh, I'll draw a great picture on the wall and then get it tattooed on my arm. No, it's going to be straight in your forehead. I think it would work. I think I'd get a lot of votes. What do you reckon, guys?
I like it.
That's pretty funny.
They'd be more concerned about.
I don't know what you think sometimes.
Can you imagine the bloke who graffiti Princess Park with sack or keep Voss on his head?
Well, he'd make sure that he spelt Lloyd correctly the next time.
Yeah, that's true too.
True.
Yeah, that's it.
Mick, Michael, we love you. Please come back next week and break things down with this. And we're gonna smash his. Like, what am I talking about?
Yeah, we're gonna win.
That's what I want to hear.
I've got pies by 26, like Andreas said before. Because look, I know everyone's saying a smashing, but maybe not on the scoreboard, but on the ground and what we do, maybe. But scoreboard, I don't know. I'm that 26 to 30 mark, I reckon.
All right.
And that's a smashing for us. That's how we smash teams. We win by 26 points.
It's a safe bet.
All right.
Thanks, fellas. We'll see you next week. Catch up. Now.
Enough of the Collingwood scum.
Now for a palate cleanser, legend of the jumper punch, Peter V.
Hey guys, how you going?
How's it going, mate?
Pretty good, mate. Pretty good.
Peter, do you want to go over the ladder with this?
Go for it, mate.
All right.
Oh, where we at, man?
Whose job is this?
You got
It's
I think it's
usually
usually
Manny.
Manny's
Oh, yeah.
job, is it?
Oh yeah, Peter, you go for it.
Yeah, let
Yeah,
the guys
all
do it.
right. We got number one. The some would say the flag pies, but I still call them the flog pies. On 52 points.
Correct.
And on number 11, we've got Carlton on 24 points. Number 13, Essen done because you've done for the whole season just like us, mate. On 24 percentage.
Yo.
Oh, good, mate.
How
And
much percentage, Peter? I can't see it.
it is 77.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now tell us,
also
that's
finally-
below North Melbourne, isn't it?
That's below North
sure is,
Melbourne. They have got the third worst percentage.
And finally, the Tigers, we all know, same as usual, on 12 points, but you're still rebuilding. So I'm happy to give you a pass on that for at least.
Yeah,
At
they
least.
got a pass this year.
Bravo, Peter. Bravo. We need to call you in every week for the ladder.
I think so.
Yeah.
See that?
Do you have anything that you want to bring up before we go to the tips, Peter? Or
Well, I'm happy to go for the tips if you want.
yeah, let's go through the tips,
Yeah,
shall we? Because
go
it's
Yep.
this is an awful round. We'll discuss it as we go through, but basically the whole week is top 9 v bottom 9.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Should we get into it, lads?
Yes. Let's do it, Liam.
Right. All right, tomorrow night, North Melbourne versus the Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium. North actually playing some pretty decent football, but Bulldogs are playing really good as well. And I think they're going to be too tough to stop at Marvel. Bulldogs for me.
Doggies for me. Doggies for me.
Yeah, I'm going doggies here easily.
Yep, the Bulldogs for me too, guys.
Boom.
Peter,
yeah.
Woof, dogs for me, mate, and it'll be probably by 10 goals.
Ooh, 10 goals, he says. Oh, boy.
Yep.
I love it. All right. Here we go. Here's the big one. We've all kind of put our tips in for this one, but Carlton and Collingwood. Yeah, look, we've spoken a bit about this game. I'm changing my tip though because I'm going with my mate Liam Romeo again. So I think he said Collingwood by 34, so I'll stick with that one.
What did you say? Collingwood or Carlton? Collingwood.
Yeah, Collingwood's
no,
winning.
Liam's a smart kid. He went to Collingwood. However, I wasn't maybe the smartest kid in my class.
I think you were, mate.
No, I'm going to go with the Mighty Blues. We're going to finally get one back on them in a close one.
Oh, I like it.
Last 15 seconds out of a D50 stoppage. Fucking Blake Acres is going to come out of nowhere and somehow kick a snag. His leg's going to fall off. His arm's going to drop off. His shoulder's going to implode. But at least we'll get to say that we beat Collingwood.
I'm going with the Blues too, man. We'll win. That's how sick in the head I am.
The game's played on Friday night, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Prime time, baby. That's all we've got for the rest of the year.
Prime time. Obviously, the weather's going to maybe take a bit of a toll, but I think Collingwood will
It's
be
going to be a perfect day, Mark.
I reckon it's going to be pissing down, mate, that night. But
Zero rain expected for the whole weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's the weekend, not the Friday night. So I think Collingwood will be too strong. It's going to be a dry July for the Carlton Football Club this month. So the Spuds will be done by 24 points.
See, that's why you don't know anything, Mark, because the weather, there's no rain for Friday. It's 15 degrees. It's actually one of the hottest days of the week on Friday. So
I'll just ask the question if it was raining. So I'm sorry, I'm not Jane Bunn or anything here. Poor Bongiorno from National.
I'll not be Jane Bunn, but if you're going to make a statement, at least get it right.
Well,
yeah. No more weather reports.
Dry July.
Boom. Do we get Peter's tip?
No worries, mate. Well, if you want to, look, I really hate losing, especially to the filth. But if you're someone wearing a West Indies cap and you're that delusional, you probably say Carlton by less than 30 points. Clap them off. But realistically, mate, I know where West Indies cap, so I'm going to say bring on the Vaseline round. The pies are
Oh,
the
Vaseline round.
Done. Sorry, guys. I had to go against the grain for once, and I hate doing that. I'm gonna be true to myself, mate. I can't be doing. I did the same thing on round 4. Said, "Oh, can we by 5 points?" Sorry, mate. I had to go against the grain for once.
Yeah, can't do it.
Good choice, mate. Good choice. Good tip.
Rightio. Let's move on to the other Friday night game, West Coast vs Giants, and West Coast were pretty good last week. Pretty unlucky. Back at home, Giants do have a couple big outs. I think Jesse Hogan's going to be out. Pretty sure Lucky Whitfield's going to be out for him. I still think they're the better team in this one. Yeah, I'll tip the Giants. Yeah, sorry, I'm tipping the Giants.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Oh, your old man goes for the Eagles, doesn't he?
Oh, you got the old man there in the background there.
Yeah, so I have to be a little bit.
What's their theme song? They got a shit theme song too, those blokes, haven't they? Eagles, what is it?
Oh, West Coast Eagles.
No, we're not going on
West
theme
Coast
song.
Eagles, that's
Yours
right.
is still the best.
Nah, come on, mate. Come on.
And how's Marco? How does the Giants song go?
That's a good song.
Yeah, the West Coast Eagles. To be quite honest, this game's on the Friday night as well, is it?
Yes, it's
Oh.
so we've got Friday night has 2 games on at the same time, and so does Saturday night.
Wowee! I think I might be watching this game on Friday night instead of the Carlton.
Oh, shut the fuck up!
So it's going to be a close one. GW West for me.
Yeah, look, Jesse Hogan, we know he loves to party in Perth. Unfortunately, he's staying at home, but I'm still going to tip the Giants for this one.
Probably tip the Giants. I mean, West Coast do play a bit better at home, but I'd say Giants will get through, mate. Probably by 3-4 goals, and that's it.
Oh, I like it. Now, next one. Now, did we bring the Vaseline out a little early, Peter?
I don't know.
That's right. This is a big one. Essendon and Gold
but it might be in the last 5 minutes. Mac Andrew, mate. Return the Mac, mate. Return the Mac. Remember that one at Marvel Stadium?
Essendon are at home, and that does give them a bit of an advantage. Gold Coast and Dimmer, he doesn't like Marvel Stadium, so that's a positive. But I think Essendon just have too many outs at the minute, and Gold Coast, if they want to be a top 8 team, they need to get a win here. So I'm tipping Gold Coast.
Yeah, good old Suns for me.
Yeah. I mean, Essendon got injuries while they were training.
They lost it.
And in actual truth, if they had a full side, I would have still picked the Suns because I don't rate Essendon's list at all. Like 0. Like probably one of the worst lists in the competition. So, but I'm going Suns.
Yeah, this is your game, Mark. So I just wanted to know, where do you think they'll be playing Merritt this week? Because he's had a go at midfield, half back, wing. Are they going to throw him in the ruck, do you reckon, against the Big Mac?
These days, God knows where they're going to play Merritt, mate. So I can only answer that question by saying, hopefully put him in the midfield. That's his best position. But I can understand maybe what the coach is trying to do is, obviously we haven't got the experience in the back line, so just throw him there for a bit of experience. And he'll get his 20, 25 possessions and give an opportunity for some of the young kids to come through in the midfield and take it while they can, But I'll be at the game this week. I'll kick back and watch it at 12:35 p.m. That's an unusual time for the time.
Yeah, what are the ticket specials this week? Are you going for the 2 for 1 again, or?
Yeah, no. Yeah, there's kids for free and all that kind of stuff, which is great. Get the supporters out there, get the crowd going. I think we'll probably get close to about maybe 30,000, 35,000, which would be nice.
You won't get 20,000 there.
You won't get 20,000. Okay, fair enough.
27.
Like I was saying before, at the end of the day, you're playing against an interstate side at home, regardless of where you are in the position on the ladder. You've got to get out there. You've got to get the 4 points, regardless of where you are in the position. So I'll be there. It'd be good to see the young kids again performing. Obviously, we got some injuries again this week. I don't know what's going on.
Zach Reed's just gone in for scans as well.
Yeah. There was three players that were supposed to play this week. They were fit to play, which was
Redmond, Langford, and some other bot.
And obviously Parrish injured again. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on, mate. I mean, I'm not there to question that, but whether it's the playing training ground or it's the conditioning staff. But if there's some issues there, you need to start getting rid of them.
Oh, well, next man up, Mark. Next man up.
That's right.
Yeah. So, it's part of it's
best 23 are the 23 out there on the day, Mark.
That's exactly right, mate. So I think our 23, young players will be out on the field this week, and I can just see the young boys singing that final song at the end of the siren, mate. I'll be rapt to see him. So Essendon by 15 points.
Yeah, I'm going Suns by about 70.
They're gonna smash you.
Trades, mate.
Smash you. Seriously, this could be a massive. But it's funny because you actually got to play him again later on, don't you?
Yep.
Well, that's right. Big last game of the season.
I reckon you could actually go below 70% in your percentage this week.
Okay. Fair enough. Things can change. Still plenty of time. 7 weeks. 8 weeks? 8 games to go.
They could go on a run.
They could go on a run, yeah.
Of losses.
I think they'll go take it week by week, mate. Take it week by week.
Yeah.
You could be joining Dry July with us, Mark.
Oh,
you already got a head start, really.
Got a head start,
yeah. Peter, what do you reckon?
I said it before, Suns by 30 points. So I think Essendon might be doing a Charlie Curnow in the next couple of weeks as well. A bit of a donut run. And big on the Carney tradies.
Done.
I like it.
I like it.
All right, here we go. Next game, Alphabet Stadium, Geelong versus Richmond. Shout out to Lucas for coming on, doing a bit of a preview before. I did enjoy that. Thanks for bringing him on, Scotty.
That's all right. Maybe I'll start ambushing you guys now.
I don't mind it, mate. It's good. But no, look, if you are tipping with your head, Geelong are the better team. But I did say we're going to win by 3 points. So I'm going to stick with it. It's something magic's happening down in Geelong. I'm telling you. I'm going to bring the magic down there and we're going to win. Richmond, 3 points. Lock it in.
I hope you do. I hope you do. And I've backed you a few times. But I can't do it this week, Liam. I just can't.
I don't think you can.
It's hard this week to back him, man. It's going to be tough, especially with Lynch out, and the other one who's on bloody home detention there. I don't think he'll be playing. Bolter, yeah. No, it's going to be too hard for you. It's going to be too hard for you. I reckon it's going to be a tough second half of the year just quietly. The young kids are going to they're just going to they're going to struggle in the second half. I mean, it's their first year, a lot of it, So, but
we're getting a few guys back from arrest. Todd tore it up in the VFL, so definitely keen to watch him if at VFL, hopefully, if not at AFL level soon. So there's still a few good guys to come through, and we may have senior guys like Lynch and Bolter up, but crisis creates opportunity, I reckon. So
very good. I like that.
So, bit of knowledge, what?
I like it.
All the optimism.
I think, I'm going to take a bit of Mark's advice.
Oh, come on, dude.
Things could turn for Richmond. I'm backing your Tigers by 3 points.
Are you? Wow.
Yeah. No, that's confirmed, mate. Scotty's hosting full time. He's
Well, he will be, so they need to. I like it.
That is still the deal for me.
Vaseline for me, mate. Take by about 50 points. Sorry, guys.
That's disgusting.
Actually, it might be without
We're going to be
Vaseline.
one on Friday night, mate, so don't worry about that. You won't be alone.
Yeah, Liam, mate. Obviously, if Lynch and Bolter were playing, I think Geelong would have probably beaten you guys by 5 goals. But seeing that they're not playing, Geelong by.
All right. No, fair play, boys. All right. Let's move on. Saturday night. Is this Saturday night? Is it? Yeah. At the Gabba. Brisbane versus Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide, they're full of confidence now after beating that terrible side, Carlton. I don't think it'll last. Brisbane are pretty good.
Deserved.
Brisbane good. They're back after a rest as well. Hard beat up there. Brisbane easy.
Yeah. Brisbane for me.
Yeah, Brisbane for me too.
You're going to have to say Brisbane, but Port just have that funny habit every now and then. But I'm going Brisbane.
Yeah, that was last week. That was their week.
Brisbane will be closer than you think. It won't be a Vaseline job. It'll be closer than you think. But Brisbane just.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Oh, yeah. Whoops.
There you go.
This is Saturday night as well, is it?
Yeah, that's the other overlap game. That's fun.
Not
I don't know how they do
at
that.
Marble, St Kilda, Hawthorn. See, this is the one where I reckon the team could win. Saints could do it, but nah, they just suck. I don't know. They just suck. Hawthorn.
It's that time of the year where they really show the form they've been in for the last 8 years or so.
Yeah, it's the same formula every year for this mob, man. Hawks are easily.
I don't even think Hawks are playing that crazy. Or I think that the hype on them's died down a lot, but this will should just be a professional win for them.
Yeah, I agree.
Peter?
Yeah, I'll probably go for the Hawks as well, mate. I'll probably go for Hawks, but it won't be an easy win. I think probably by 3 or 4 goals, and that's it.
Oh, all right, that close. I think they'll smash.
Boom. All right, then we are on to some Sunday games now. This is an interesting one.
Hawthorn.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ma. I didn't realise you didn't tip. Sorry.
That's right.
But the Sunday game, Sydney SCG. We didn't talk about the turf, but we will get to that next week, I'm sure.
We'll get to that next week.
Yeah, we're waiting to see the outcome because this might not be played at the SCG.
Yeah,
but there is that little element there which could create some interest even more around this game. But Sydney are back in pretty decent form. They were unlucky to lose to Bulldogs last week. Fremantle, I know they've been winning, but I don't know. They just beat St Kilda. They just beat North Melbourne. I think this is their first time on the road in a month, if I'm not mistaken. I have a feeling they might drop this one. I'm going to go Sydney.
Nice.
Yeah, Sydney. You go, Rocco. Sorry.
I'm just going to say I'm going to go Freo. They had a good game, and as I said, this might not even be played there. We'll find out soon. But yeah, I'm going Freo. They're playing some good football.
Yeah. Sydney for me. They showed a lot of fight against the Doggies with some key players just coming back from injury. They might they might ease into it a bit better this week, but you'd expect that they'd be able to handle them on their home deck.
I like it.
Flip of the coin, guys. Flip of the coin.
Yeah, here we go.
It's heads. Sydney.
Done.
Don't you like Sydney, Mark?
No, at all. I hate Sydney.
Well, I never know with this coin toss business.
Peter?
I mean, last time I think Pereira won it over there, but I think Guinea with you mentioned the Inter, also Errol Gordon coming back. I think might be the difference. So I'm thinking one in a close one.
Yeah. Oh, he's a gun. He's a really good player. All right.
Yeah, he's a good player to come back for sure.
Let's do that last game. Adelaide Oval, Adelaide versus Melbourne. I watched Adelaide last week. I've followed them all season. I really hope they do well. I think they'll win this one at home. They're a good team.
Yeah, I'm the same. Adelaide playing too well. Melbourne, okay, but yeah, over there they're always going to be tough to beat. Adelaide for me.
Yeah, yep. Melbourne are just too dysfunctional on every line. It's got to be the Crom.
The Crom.
Yeah.
Lock it in the Crows for me too, boys.
I'd probably say another Vaseline job for the Crows.
There's going to be a few Vaseline jobs.
It's an all-your Vaseline round. Embrace it.
Get a 1.25 litre one, mate.
This is going to be.
I don't want to know what a man would do with 1.25 litres of Vaseline.
Oh, they'll work something out, mate. Don't worry.
But I think Manny's tips have been dipping into the Vaseline because he's pulled away even further.
Oh no, this week actually.
7 out of 7 this week.
Actually, this week, me, Manny, and Mark got 6, but Liam got all 7 this week.
Oh,
the comeback's on, boys. I'm telling you. you watch month's time, mate.
It's going to change.
When we win this week against Geelong,
I think even actually. Last year, Quinn had a very late comeback while still tipping Richmond.
Yes, he did. And by the looks of the tips this week, Lee, there'll be some movement either way. Like someone's going to either move ahead or we're going to start catching up. So we'll see. I like it.
I'm sorry, I've just got to chase you down third. I think. Too far ahead. You first, then we'll take on Mark.
Yeah, I'm just worried about beating you, and I'm gonna. It's hard to catch up 7 because I think I'm 7 behind the leader, so it's going to be tough in 7 rounds or 8 rounds, whatever it is. But I'm just gonna get away from you first, and then I'll catch Mark, which will be easy, and then. I might make a late run for Manny in the last round or so.
Done.
Yeah. All right, fellas. I reckon it's going to be a good follow-up next week for all the shit that we've talked this week.
Huge round. Be huge.
Yeah. Fellas, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you didn't mind me filling in for you for the first half, Rocco. No. It really settled the nerves once you came back on.
Yeah, I know. I jumped on a bit. I had to I was listening in the background and I was fuming in the back, you know. I'm thinking to myself, mate, I've got to say this, I've got to say that. No, but it was really good.
Seba was exactly the same until I started getting messages from my mum saying, like, take him off. He's ruining the show. Take him off. He keeps swearing.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Mr. Tompkins, yes, I do tend to do that. So I apologize.
No, Seba, not you.
Oh, was that Seba?
He was upset with Seba.
Oh, with Seba. Oh, yeah, he came on. He was disgraceful when he came on. Like, absolutely just foul mouth, little Seba coming on. Like, what is he doing? Now, listen.
Take the boy off, mate. Take the boy off.
Yeah, no, he's a great value. And make sure you catch up on Sunday night. Seba will be joining the crew again of Blue Sunday, and this week it'll be Joe, it'll be Vince, it'll be Seba, and it'll be the hyphen. Reece Jones will be back, so that should be a good one. So he's done a great job too. But I'll let you finish off. But Scotty, you've been great tonight. I think everyone's enjoyed it, and I think you brought some you brought in John McGowan.
Yes, please make sure to check him out online. And it was a great opportunity. I really enjoyed it. It's good to raise the cultural bar before Manny gets back next week.
Yeah, no, it was a good insight. It was a very good insight. I enjoyed that because we've talked about it, but we actually got some real information tonight. So that was good, you know. So, and what I got out of it, I don't think the stadium's going to happen now. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, as I said, you got plenty to talk about the water cooler at work tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, no, you've done a great job, and you'll be helping out a lot more on the show, and you'll be taking the reins a lot more. So I reckon it's been a great addition to Scotty.
No, thank you.
Bring some class to the show. Bring some class to the show.
Yeah, I'm getting used to you, Scotty, mate. I'm starting to enjoy you a little bit, mate. So
Joel.
I love it.
Like the way
where's the end? How do I end the stream? How do I end the stream?
I did like the way you move.
Trybooking.com, everyone. Come to TJP catch up. Carlton versus Freo and the live show coming up in Brunswick. Love you all. Links in the description. And yeah, go Rivals.
Go
Blues.
Let's go.
Come on, mate.
Up the package.